I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Selectmen for June 2nd, 2015 to order. Prior to reviewing and approving the agenda, I would like to read something. With sadness, I acknowledge the passing of Marcia Gilson. Marty Gilson, began her career with the Town of Ayer Police Department on August 25th, 1982, as a matron and dispatcher. Within a few years, she became the administrative assistant to the chief of police, as well as the records and licensing clerk for the department. In her 33 years of service, Marcia faithfully supported and served 5 chiefs of the department, a duty she did not take lightly and one she performed up until her passing on May 23rd, 2015. The department has not only lost Marcia's vast expertise, but also a wealth of institutional knowledge about the department and the town that can never be replaced. To her family, loved ones, friends, and all who were touched by Marcia, on behalf of the Town of Ayer, we offer our condolences. If we could all please take a moment of silence for her on her behalf. Thank you. I would like to have a motion to approve the agenda or make any amendments. Yes, Robert.
Madam Chair, through you to the board, if the board is willing, I would respectfully request an amendment to the agenda for 2 appointments for police dispatchers, a part-time dispatcher and a per diem dispatcher. And respectfully, I would recommend if the board would consider taking that up before the goals and objectives discussion.
Okay, wait a minute. You're adding the 2 appointees, but you want it under goals and discussions?
Or have the appointments taken up before we start the discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I misunderstood what you were saying.
The chief come up at that time.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Oh, I'm sorry, Gary.
I just got a couple of things I want to have. Sorry, last minute. I don't like to do this, but it just came up recently. One of them was the bylaw issue with the Attorney General, but I think Robert's going to bring that up on your report.
Yep.
The other one, I said last meeting, I'll bring it up again, 32B, Section 9.5A. What do we owe other towns and what do other towns owe us? Brief discussion on that. Also, I want to have a discussion on an email that we didn't get from Shirley stating to their representatives to the state that they want to change how regional school assessments are made.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
First I heard of it, but
Yeah.
can't wait to discuss.
I'll fill you in. And those can be on the,
New business.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. Yes.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended by Robert.
Gary.
Second discussion. I'd like to add this executive session at the end of the meeting, if it's all right with people under exemption 3, Mass General Law 30A, Section 21A. Police Officer Matthew Powers, exemption 3, litigation.
Okay, so you want to move the what would have been at 6 o'clock to after the meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
But without exemption 1.
without exemption 1, correct.
Okay. Are you
We're good now, right? You made
Yeah.
us with, yeah,
okay?
motion's been made. Do we want to make it again?
Oh,
No,
did
no.
you? Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
second.
All right.
Oh, okay. All right. Motion has been made. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion is passed. The agenda has been approved as amended. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm next. A couple of announcements. On June 8th at 7 p.m. at the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Auditorium is the J-Boss Supertown meeting. We would like as many to attend as possible. At 7:15 p.m. on June 8th, we will also be having a special town meeting at the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Auditorium. Again, attendance is highly desired. Thank you.
Can I just add to that real quick?
Yeah.
Just because things swirl around this town. I may not be there. It's portfolio night, and Jack is singing in the chorus, so it's taking precedence for me. But I will do my best to make it there if possible.
Okay. Anyone here for public input? Mary?
One question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
And this came up because I saw an article from the town of Westwood. They're replacing 3,700 feet of old pipes, 100 years old water pipes. And they talked about putting it through a tip program. And their town engineer said that if you do that, you have to put bike lanes in the road. And I wanted to know if that is true, because we're applying for that tip for East Main Street, and that would be quite something if we have to do that.
Yes.
Just from my recollection, I thought there was some talk of bike lanes as part of this project.
The East Main
Yeah.
Street project was submitted with proposed bike lanes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's just
too.
striping them out, basically.
Mhm.
It depends on the width of the right of way.
That'd be quite a congested road if we do that for East Main Street. Traffic
All it
is
is
wicked.
striping.
Yeah.
Bikes can't ride on the
And they
sidewalk
have
legally.
They have the right to the road too.
Well, I understand that. Did you ever try and ride on some of the roads in
Yeah.
Lowell
Yeah.
where they have bike
Yeah.
lanes? It's a mess.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
You have three cyclists sitting there, I'm sure they can tell you. Bike lanes are, there's a lot of bikes out there, and I believe you have the same right of ways as vehicles, correct?
Anybody else for public input? Okay. All right. Chief Pedrazi, come on down.
Good evening.
Good evening, Chief.
How's everybody?
Great. You?
I have a couple of reserve fund transfers that I'm requesting. Sorry, Gary. The first one is for the supplies line item, and that's due to a pump that we had break at the big brush fire we had a couple weeks ago. It's a 20-year-old pump. The casing's cracked on it. It's not worth repairing. We don't know what else is broken inside of it. So a new pump is, I have a quote for $5,650, and I'm asking for $6,000 because we're gonna do the work ourselves to replace the pump on the vehicle, but we're gonna need some piping and valves to rearrange it because it's not exactly the same setup as the one that's on there.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the reserve fund transfer from the fire department supplies, account number 01220-54000, in the amount of $6,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, obviously, I don't know why I say that. Motion is granted.
Chief, 20 years is about life expectancy, I would assume.
They're small pumps,
Yeah.
anyway, it's a 300-gallon pump. It
Yes,
goes, and it
that's-
goes it's on a plastic skid unit that will go into the back of another pickup truck, so it's gonna get used down the road. It's not something, the rest of the unit is all plastic, so it's not gonna rot out or anything.
You
So
guys
it'll
certainly had a share of brush.
be like having a new, skid unit. Want to pass those around?
And you gonna do your second one?
Yeah, and the second one is for the overtime line item. And I've had some injury this year. One of my captains was out for 7 months with, he had surgery on his arm. And he used sick time. And I also had one of my lieutenants use family medical leave for the birth of a child. So I had about 1,500 hours of sick time in between those two things. And you cover the shift with overtime. So it's what it is.
Plus, Lieutenant Dillon,
Lieutenant Dillon is out, but I mean, I have a guy replacing him. There was no overtime involved in his
okay.
thing. I have a guy that's replacing him that's actually saving me about $300 a week.
oh, okay.
But it
Well,
wasn't
it's
enough,
been
it's
worse.
not enough to overcome the other part of it. And actually, when the captain was out for the first 3 months, he didn't know what was wrong with him. You know, it took him that long to decide he was gonna have surgery, and then, once we found out he was gonna be out for an extended period of time, the union allowed another part-time person to work in that position, so, you know, they all get sick of working, too.
And you have to fill it with a captain, correct?
An officer has to be on shift.
Officer.
Yeah,
At
could be either one of the
captain's- at
lieutenants or the
captain's pay.
captains. If there's only one of them working, yes, at captain's pay.
Makes sense.
So this has no effect on next year's budget?
No, absolutely none. Yeah.
Make a motion to approve reserve fund transfer for the fire department overtime. Account 01220-51300, the amount of $28,361.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Could I get those back, because I need them for the finance committee meeting, and that's at 8?
You want, we
Yes.
usually just have one copy. Do you want both signed?
Yeah, I want an original for myself.
They're meeting tonight.
Yeah, they,
They're meeting at 8 tonight. They decided they would meet because I need that pump. So they asked if I needed it earlier than the 10th, and I said yes. So they were kind enough to meet.
These pumps and things, are they just like one supplier or a couple of
No, there's a
suppliers?
couple suppliers, but this is a state bid price, and it's a good price. I checked around magazines and stuff like that, and on the internet, the price is fine.
I didn't have blue pen, but I wrote hard enough that you can feel my imprint, so
Thank
that's how
you.
you tell the original. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you for your grant,
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
FEMA,
thank you for bringing that up.
$28,000
that's not really a FEMA grant. That was,
reimbursement.
it's a program that they have that Medicare doesn't pay enough to support the ambulance, so it's a program that they have nationally that you could apply for, that basically, I don't know where the money comes from the
Yeah.
Medicare, but it's to make up some of the difference, what they don't pay you. And that was a lot of work to put that thing together. Lisa Bree spent a lot of hours. I mean, it was like an eight-tab spreadsheet that I had to fill out across.
Thanks for
Good work.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, this was brought up at a chiefs meeting, and I brought it back to the rest of the district, because a lot of the guys weren't there, and I think ourselves in Tewksbury were the only ones that applied for it out of our district.
Really?
And it's just crazy, it's free money, if you get it. And once you get, the first year's the hardest year, then you just submit every year after that.
I didn't realize it was a
Once you
reoccurring.
kind of through the hurdles.
So you just paid for that reserve fund transfer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, good point.
Good job.
Yeah, we're very fortunate in the departments, all of them.
Yeah.
Grants. Some people don't want, other towns just don't want to do the works. It's a lot of work.
It is, but
Yeah.
it's work.
Absolutely.
David.
Thank you, chief.
I'm bringing Ms. Knox with me as well, because
Uh-oh.
this is a team.
I didn't see her name
Production.
on here. Wait a minute.
Well, this is a show and tell tonight, so I want you to see when we, you know, as all the departments do, when they put their heads together and utilize everybody's help, what you can get done. So one of my projects for this year was to redo the website, and as you all know how fast the days go by, I think I actually am going to make the deadline, but that's okay, because it is done. What we've basically done is I put together new sheets, new tabulations. The first, this is kind of like the home page. This has obviously our contact information, which is at the top. We've now expanded to 8 links that are there now, and there's going to be a 9th, which I'll tell you about later. Underneath that, the headings you have there are the 3 different styles of the department: the planning, economic development, and community. And then we've added also the boards and the commissions under that. Of the 3, we're going to highlight the economic development one for you right now. Of the 3, people can go and look at the rest. So basically, we've kind of put some catchphrases. We have information about the IDFA. We have information about the grants. A little further down, what we've done is, because we've had put so much time into the business certificates, I've made my office what is called a one-stop, obviously, because there's sometimes more than half people working in the office. So you basically have to be the person that can talk to the fire department, the police department, the building inspector, the people who represent the conservation, things of that nature. So that's why they call it a one-stop, because if you call our department, we can put you in touch with whoever it is you'd like to get to, which is where we've gone of late with, having site plan meetings and things of that nature. We put so much time and effort into the building licenses, the business licenses, that I actually put a little link here that Cindy helped me with, and this is like a Q&A. So you've just purchased your business license, but here's all the other questions that if you were a business person, you might want to look into. What else do you need? Do you have the right zoning? Things of that nature. So that's basically a whole page of just kind of quick, as that phrase goes, down and dirty questions and answers of where you can get that particular information. We'll go back to the homepage. Yes.
Can you put a link in, a department that might be related to this, such as the building department?
Yes, and we did up here. We've got
Okay.
contact
Their
links.
names.
Oh, okay. all right.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
We got the building department.
So as you click on the gauge, you're gonna end up in his.
You're gonna end up writing an
All
email
right,
ticket.
that's great.
Okay, good.
And,
Yeah, you could probably link building department too to his page, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Selectmen, Livingston.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, just one quick point, too, just to emphasize, as the board is aware, the IT committee just authorized an upgrade of the whole website, so what
Yes.
David's really focusing on, which is key, is content
Content.
and functionality changes, but this whole aesthetic look will really move into the 21st century with the facelift.
And that's out in
Thank you.
development now. They're working on a prototype. So
Awesome.
as soon as that is here, we'll take a look at it.
Good, because I know Robert knows and Cindy kind of knows too. I'm very glad to see this because I often go to the website during my lunch and I'll check and I'll be like emailing going, could you fix
Clicking
this
through.
page? It's
Right.
old,
Right.
you know?
That was the whole
So this
problem.
is really nice. It is. And then I'd find stuff and I'd be like, this is like 20 years old. Maybe we should update this
Yeah.
page and everything. So I'm very happy to see this and I'm really looking forward to the new aesthetic.
A couple other things on the front page. We take, here's a good use of a, excuse me. If you go to the committee, the IDFA committee,
I lost my way here.
we've actually taken marketing material that we've done before, and up comes the sheet 4 that we've used, that we had as part of that package, with it all explained right there. Thank you very much. So again, there's multiple uses of the things that we have within the office. One last thing I'd like to point out on this, is we'll go back, is one of the things that the FinCom had asked me to try and look into a number of years ago, and finally it's accomplished, is a business directory. And what we did, Alicia and I have spent extensive time. We have 2 directories here. One directory is basically, this is businesses by what they call their style. So we've broken down all of the retail and commercial businesses into what they do as best we could. So all of our automotive places are dealers, just scan down, and the hair salons, the restaurants, they're all listed with what they do and their phone numbers. To include everyone, we actually have an alphabetical list of every business that we know of, based on the assessor's paperwork and our own. And this is alphabetical. So if somebody wants to look for somebody's business here in town, they're able to go on to this. What's going to happen is I'm going to run an ad in the Spirit in the next week or two to ask the businesses to actually take a minute to look at this, to see if the information is correct, see if I've missed anyone, or if there's somebody that might not want to be on there, and that's their choice. So we'll try and get some input from the business community itself about these 2 business directories for them, so we can improve them, enhance them, of things of that nature, so that they're more correct than we think we already have them.
Would I assume that these are businesses that have an updated business license?
No, they're not. And, we're working on that, and I'm not quite sure if that's, but I don't want to, this is supposed to be about all our businesses who pay taxes. That's, I guess, another question that we can continue to work on, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback from the businesses. We've gotten a lot of information back, but that's not what this was meant to be. It was meant to be able to cover every business who does have an address here in town and pays taxes in town. This is off of the assessor's paperwork. So, I mean, the other, that had been brought up, and I obviously see the point, but the FinCom's idea was that if we do have the business certificates, it should go out to all businesses. Now, it's up to you as the governing body to tell me whether you want this to be just people with business licenses, or we want it to be all the businesses here in town.
Well, I mean, through Janice, I think that the businesses are paying for a license. I mean, I think they're a legitimate business. I mean, just running that lawnmower shop out of his front yard, I mean, that was kind of the point.
Well, these are Mr.
No, and I can tell by the list, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
maybe that there should be some thought into that. You're not getting free advertising through the town, despite the fact that you didn't file for your business license. Just throwing that out there. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but.
This is also a service to people, you know.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be
People come here and find out
a
where their
service to the
businesses are.
citizens to be able to, if they know, and also to keep, people from, hopefully by looking up something like this, they might go to one of our businesses in town too, to support them versus going to any one of our neighbors.
I guess, and not to sound like former selectmen, but if your business is registered, and this was brought up before, and I think Mr. Roper was here that night, if you're a licensed business, you've been vetted a little bit by the town. If you're a business owner here, you're not business licensed, and you're steered here by the town site, and there is impropriety, where does that put us to some degree?
Changes can be made, I mean, obviously this is.
No, I'm just throwing out ideas, I'm not suggesting.
No, sure.
What about, going on your thought, what about like even maybe putting an asterisk to indicate, these have the business license through the town of Ayer or something? That way you've accomplished both goals.
Well, obviously, everybody's supposed to have the
Right.
certificate.
Yeah.
But I think that was the point with the business license, right? I mean, like when we talked to
Yeah.
Gabe, some guy comes in and says he's gonna build your deck and your deck, but he'll do it quick with no permit, and you find out that he takes your money and leaves. At least with a business license, you're a business in town, you can call up Gabe or David or whoever and find out that they are a legitimate business. And, here's their address, because I don't have to register my business under, it's bizarre. You can register it under a different name, or it could be Hilco, but it doesn't have to have my name attached to it
Right.
personally. So companies, I think the chief sent something out today about scams. I mean, these companies do that, especially paving companies for some reason.
Well, again, this is the list from the assessor's office, so these would be legitimate people who are paying the town tax.
Just an idea, David. I'm not,
Yeah,
I
I
think
know
this is
exactly
great.
what
I
you're
just,
saying.
just a thought.
So, the final component, which will go back to the main page, is that last box is being utilized for all the real estate buildings and property that will be commercial or retail here in town. So people be able to click on that and be able to see at any time. So that's the one component that needs to be finished on that. So basically, that's just a quick thumbnail sketch of, there's a new community development page, there's a new page on planning, we've linked it to zoning, we've linked it to, the other conservation departments. There's like 6 pages now, and the information will be kept up to date. There's information about the grant, the last grant we did, where we'll utilize this a lot for the comprehensive plan as that moves along. That has a component within the economic development side as well. We can put updates. We've met, this is some of the things we're doing. We really want to have the people's interest in that. So this could be a place where that exists. So that's the website, which is basically been a really big part of what, since we finished the grant, what Alicia and I have done with content, and of course, we couldn't do it without Cindy ever when she helped us with this much. So before she goes, just quickly, New England Flatbread, the owners are working towards a September opening. The Shop and Save, Mr. Celeste has secured, he's bought the fixtures from the former Hannaford's. And Mr. DiGeronimo and he plan to start the renovations in the next couple of weeks.
I got a question about that.
Yeah.
Are they planning on doing that parking lot?
Are
Are they aware of the pool?
Yes, yes.
Are they aware of the fact that you gotta get a rowboat to get through the parking lot? Because,
He plans to do some upgrades, but he's not gonna do it fully because he's gonna add more building. He doesn't wanna do it over an entire parking lot that he's gonna dig up to put more retail space in it.
maybe he should fix the pool? Because, I mean, it gets huge. I
Right.
mean, you all laugh when I say rowboat, but
No,
seriously.
I've seen the water there, especially
Yes.
during
I
the,
think where that puddle is where the new building's gonna go if they build it, so I don't think he wants to do anything with that part of the parking lot yet.
Okay,
We had a meeting with him a couple months ago.
Okay.
Proposed their plan, and that was brought up at the meeting.
I made the mistake of going through the illusion of, oh, it's not that deep one time. And I was wrong.
AVS puts up with the same kind of situation because the
Yeah.
water gets blocked all around. There's been times when they've had no parking lot and had to park, and either in the back or around the street because they can't get into the front door of their building.
It should be fixed.
It's crazy.
It should be, you know what,
Yeah.
honestly, it should be fixed
There's
as
a
part
culvert
of the.
Yeah.
that's blocked
Well,
behind 100 Park Street. It should be
You're
looked
familiar
at,
with
it
that,
should be
yeah.
opened. It's blocked.
Okay, so
The
when did you say
$50
he's planning on opening? I'm sorry.
They're going to try and open by September.
Awesome.
And as you can see, the Family Dollar, I've checked with Gabe today, Mr. Valenti, and they're moving along at the pace that they expect to. Tiny Spanier, their expansion, as you probably know, is moving along. Their biggest drawback right now is conservation. And of course, we get to see Mr. Giulio, who comes into the office, and they're pretty well all set to start doing the excavation and the construction part of the new rails as they come in. And then Global Gas, they're ready to meet with the departments to be able to start looking at the final plan of the gas station. So that's,
Hear anything from the MBTA? Just asking. I saw subject then.
Madam
no, it's
Chair.
getting less
Yeah.
sore.
Madam Chair, through you to the board, to the extent that we can, the MBTA has completed the survey work that they have done and have submitted that work, or submitted their proposal to the property owner. And we are waiting to hear back from the MBTA that the MBTA and the property owner have come to an agreement. Once that's the case, then there would be a subsequent meeting to finalize
This
this.
was late Friday or early Monday? I mean,
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't think it was even submitted
Yeah.
as of yesterday to
Yeah,
the property owner.
so it inches towards resolution.
Yeah.
And the,
Are we done with this? Can I move back into?
yeah,
I'm just gonna do a quick, 4th of July, 1 second.
in the thing downtown, how'd that go?
The Open Air Fest?
Yeah.
I guess it went fairly well. There were some complaints that we'll work with that next time. That we didn't maybe tell, they didn't tell the residents, especially in the Fletcher building, enough about what was going on, things of that nature. But we'll try and work through.
Deal with it.
Ellis will, can probably, she's heard some of the stuff, and Robert
Okay.
as well.
Sorry. Deal with it.
So
It was noisy for a couple
we'll
of
just
months.
we'll make a greater effort to make sure. I wasn't asked to be involved as much this time, so we'll maybe just try and get ahead of some of the curve on some of the things they did well in October, the things they did well in the last one. We'll make sure those go hand in hand for the next one.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
Some good bands.
Quickly, we want to show you, we've also built a 4th of July website. And on this website, we've got all of the different vendor sheets that we would need, information on the day. I'd like Cindy just to click on the sponsors because this is very important. For those of you who might have known of, again, the bank, the Neshoba Valley Medical Center has come forward again to be our premier sponsor. They've donated $2,000 again this year to the fireworks on the 4th of July.
Can we get
should-
the Christmas
Very nice.
tree
And I
lighting?
should comment that both years, Mr. Perler has been here, and even before him, his other partners, Mr. Maha, they've actually given that amount for the last 4 years, so you can do the math on that. We
Thank
have
you
a lot,
again.
but if we move down to the SU, we have a lot of sponsors from from the rest of
The
the
usual.
businesses as well. So we've got a good response. And as you see, we've even got some out of town. Rollstone Bakers from out of town, Venus is from out of town. So we're getting support from outside as well.
Are you funded, David? Do you need more sponsors?
We can always use more sponsors, and it's better to have the funds to be able to do bigger and better things.
Okay.
But the parade's shaping up nicely. We got a great oldies group that plays a lot up in Leominster. They're one of the biggest ones in Mass, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Reminisce, they're coming across to the Neshoba Valley Orchestra and play all the patriotic music. I'm really excited that Hawks Nest is going to actually come and set up a disc golf area in the other field where they're going to have some for the young people, and then they're going to have a wider one for older people to play.
They did that, to your question, Gary, behind, or Jan's question, behind Carlin's. It's pretty cool.
Right.
The guy was out there showing the sport and stuff like that. And
Can I
So-
play or am I too old?
No, you can play. Yeah.
It'll be a great day, the celebration. I think it's great that this year, this is the first year that I've been here, that we've had it, that we're actually doing it on the 4th of July, the Saturday film, so it's kind of neat to have it on, have our, Fresh Air Independence celebration on the 4th of July, so we'll act accordingly for it.
It's great. This is all great, David. David, can we look into, didn't we form a committee about the Christmas tree lighting to try to revive that this year? Can we, after you're settled with this, September or so, maybe start doing some stuff if you guys don't object? Similar to promoting it.
Did the committee actually get formed?
Yep.
Who's on the committee?
We created it, but no one applied yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So-
So it exists, we just
So-
need members.
So the title of it exists, but it hasn't been formed yet.
So everybody beep and wave when you see me out there by myself in the fall.
So, yeah. Outdoor lighting on the town hall, just reminding you that. Okay, well, thank you very much, David.
My
Anything else?
pleasure. I'm really,
Good work.
This is very
a lot
nice.
of kudos to Cindy, because as we say, I can come up with the ideas, but sometimes they're not always feasible, but she makes them feasible.
We're working
So
together.
That's why we go to Cindy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and look for the new website, hopefully sometime towards the end of June, so you can take a look.
Oh, really? That soon?
Well,
Great.
for a prototype, and then they can start building it. But, we're really gonna work on the main page and bringing all the content up front.
yeah.
And,
I don't want to put you in the spot or anything, but I will. But any of the permitting stuff going to be on there?
not initially, but the website will be able to contain any
okay.
of the permitting software that we could
I mean,
decide on.
not to be crude,
We
but
haven't chosen a vendor.
can we just
Oh, okay.
steal this from Westford? They have it. It's not copyrighted.
Yeah.
Or Chelmsford?
Well, Westford it was.
Westford, yeah, but Chelmsford
Yeah.
has a nice system as well.
So he's gonna come up with something good.
Well, what I say is they have a computer, like they would have it inside David's or Cindy's office or Gabe's office, that you can go on right there without going in and, and fill it right out, and then it kind of gets sent out. So it works out well for them, so.
Yeah, some of the packages we've been looking at are cloud-based, as
Mhm.
well as, Gabe can grab an iPad and in the field, he can update the permits or.
Yeah.
But what we're looking for is something that is simple to use, both on our end and on the residents' end.
Yes.
And with other hands.
Mhm.
Just basically simple to maintain and to use.
Yeah.
And I think we've got 3 that fall well into that category.
Okay.
So look for that too.
I'm looking forward to it.
As long as it's not forgotten.
Oh, no.
No, I've heard her talk about it.
It's not
We're even looking for some funding to it, too.
Well, it frees up Gabe too, because Gabe does spend a lot of time speaking and filling
Yeah.
these permits out with people.
Right,
I
we are
witnessed
still
it
looking for funding.
last week when I was here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let us know what you need.
Some ideas
Yeah, let us what you know what you need and everything, so. Terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice seeing you.
about too. Stays
Okay.
funded, so.
Safe ride home.
Thank you. It's nice when it's late.
Oh, and thank you for putting me in contact with Joe down at Cantina about the question I had.
Oh, yeah.
He was very, very helpful. I'm actually going to take a tour of the plant with him in a couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Little did we know, there was actually, FDA reason for it.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Yeah, he was great.
No, Mark,
He's,
you're not out of the hot seat tonight.
I used to deal with
Yeah, it was running it.
when I had my
so
school.
it was-
Yeah.
I used to buy all.
Oh, really?
Oil from- They used to be in Salt.
Yeah, no, I had a question, they clear cut it, and then I just had a question about what was going on because I was getting it from my neighbors. And
They're pretty good.
No, he was great. He was great, yeah.
Vasily?
Yep.
Hi, Mark, how are you?
Good. Tonight, I have a recommendation for appointment for the wastewater treatment plant operator. As you may know, about a month ago, we appointed Rick Hudson as the wastewater foreman, so then that makes his position available, and we have this domino effect. So
How's that working? Is he working out?
Yes, most of the time. No, actually, the treatment plant's running great. It's doing about the best stuff we've seen in quite a while. A lot of that, and we've got, in the spring with the snow melt, we had a lot of high flows. And we discovered with this latest little storm, we're having some high flows, so we're out popping manholes trying to find.
I saw them out today on Nemco, at the end of the day,
somewhere up
yeah.
there. So I think someone diverted that pipe from the drainage pond into our sewer system. Anyway, so we have a process in the contract when a position becomes vacant on filling it. So we posted the position. David was the only one who expressed interest. Rick and I interviewed him, and so I'm recommending him for the position of wastewater treatment plant operator. David started with the town as the plant attendant in 2007. He's got his grade 5 operator's license, his CDL license, and hydraulics license. He's also one of the better, we've got a lot of talented people in the DPW. He's probably our best welder. So if there's something tricky we need to have done, we'll call on David. And he has been in the on-call rotation, so he's comfortable running the plant by himself, dealing with alarms, understands what the problems are and who to call when he needs help. He's also a member of the safety committee. He takes that seriously and provides a lot of additional ideas for how we improve safety in the department. So I'm recommending that we appoint David as the wastewater treatment plant operator.
Any questions?
So I did, but I'm lost, sorry, I was lost my train of thought, so go ahead, Gary.
I was just gonna make a motion.
No, I'm good, I wasn't anything
Oh, okay.
opposed to the motion or anything, no.
Make a motion to appoint David Nelson Jr., not to be confused with the retired senior. Position of wastewater treatment plant operator, effective immediately?
Yes.
Effective immediately.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, aye, sorry.
We get there eventually.
Yeah, we're still learning the new arrangement.
Well, motion passes. Congratulations on your new position.
And will this, Mark, you'll have to fill David's position, I'm assuming?
No, we had a demotion and a promotion.
Yeah, oh, okay, I see.
Position, so we've had two people in that position. I was also asked to put the sewer tie-in that Ryan School Road on the agenda.
Gary, you want to switch?
No, you can.
You wanted to sit over
I know
there.
I did. I wasn't there the
You
last time.
specifically asked to sit over there.
No.
Yeah, you're good.
There's no slide.
There's no slide.
You can come back.
Yeah, it's just a header.
No, never mind.
Yes.
I'm not, I don't know
We
why
had
it's on the
we had
agenda.
confusion. Ignore the Mondo pad. Mark, Gary, whatever your name is, you.
Well, I actually brought it up, so.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll, but I confused this with the property that was across the street in Groton, which in October of 11, which was before you got here. Tell time flies, I thought it was more recent than that. A proposal came in front of the board by the same engineering firm and requesting the same thing, and we turned them down. So I just found it, I mean, we get people in town that don't have water and sewer hookups, and hooking up to people in another town.
No, I don't have it.
It's kind of bothersome to me. You know, I think, in the future, we gotta come up with some kind of policy that, you know, I just think it's wrong that, we're hooking up people in another town and not hooking up people in this town. Aside from the fact that, personally, I don't think we should be hooking up anybody from another town into our system. Especially without any kind of, do we have anything in paper?
Just their application, and I don't know, I know legally if this person does have water. They are a water customer.
Do we have an agreement with them?
I don't know. I did a little
Probably not.
research, and technically, on water services, you do need to have some sort of an agreement with the other town, because basically, Groton has the franchise rights to serve that. And I don't know if you remember, last year, there was a house in Ayer up on Culver Road, that it's in Ayer, but they're going to be served by the Groton water system. And
Okay.
I think Copeland and Page had presented that to the board.
Right,
as
there has to
an
be some
item
type of
A.
intermunicipal agreement, I would
For
think.
water, there does. For sewer, I couldn't find any Mass General law that stated that.
Okay.
And a lot of that has to do with, a lot of water departments were formed as water districts.
Right.
And the districts don't serve the whole town, they have specific areas. So what they didn't want to have happen was this district encroaching on that district without some sort of agreement. But I couldn't find anything that said that that was a requirement for sewer, but we could set our own policy on that.
You know, it's just, you know, we turn the guy across the street down.
Mhm.
And again, the same circumstances, it came in front of us as Water and Sewer Commissioners, which kind of think it should.
Came before you. We weren't here in 2011.
Yes, you weren't. But I did express my disinterest in it, and it didn't go through, so. But I still think it needs to be vetted. And, you know, what if all of a sudden somebody wants to put in some subdivision, a couple of houses, or put a duplex in? Yeah, we're gonna get paid for that, but how much of a strain is it gonna be on us? Do we need to, if you have multiples, you know, are you gonna need to add to the system? And
Well, we do have, I think, you know, in the document that I put together regarding the capacity that we own at Devon's, we took into account not only the undeveloped or proposed developments in Ayer, but also, you know, Groton has approached us about sending wastewater to us.
Right.
And they're moving forward with that project. We did have an original MOU, then they voted it down, and they're back designing that. We don't have an MOU for this process, and they're very early. I just met with them last week to talk about different options for how they could connect in, and they haven't gotten too far. So the next step with that would be to have some sort of an MOU with the town, and part of that, if the board decides that they do want to enter an MOU and serve that portion of Groton, we would have a specific rate structure just for them, because they wouldn't pay as a normal customer. I also, as a realtor, had called me about the parcel of land on Harvard Road, just past where the Maxent.
at one time, they wanted to put a 40B in over there.
And you know, and I didn't make any commitments or anything. He just said, you know, would it be possible to connect to the air, water, and sewer? And I said we'd have to look at
I think we
what
already
the
turned them
specific
down. You guys went
project
in.
was.
But I think we already turned them down.
Didn't say you were wrong, Jerry. Just said you weren't
So
here.
just so that I'm
Before
clear
our
is, in this case, you know, that from my perspective, the property is half in Groton and half in Ayer, and they are a water customer. mistakenly didn't realize that there was an issue with serving people that were outside of town with sewer where they already have the water. But in the future, I'll bring every case that's questionable to the board.
Said already, but
Yeah.
just,
I'm not done.
No, I was getting Janice's attention.
Okay. Can
Sometimes you gotta
can I
throw
keep
things
going?
out. Absolutely.
No, I know that.
Please continue.
Are there any others in the pipeline?
Service connections?
Requests.
Requests? Just
town?
no, out of town.
No out of town?
I don't think there are any, I'm trying to think of where there might be any other out-of-town services close to the sewer.
Okay. Do we know what we're servicing out of town? We should know, right, obviously.
I don't believe we have any sewer out of town,
Okay.
and I think we have only 2 or 3 water.
Okay, is there any way we can get agreements with these people after the fact?
Well, we don't
Just
need,
to protect
we don't need an
ourselves.
agreement with
With the-
with the people, we need an agreement with the town.
With the
So I wouldn't see any issue with putting together an intermunicipal agreement. I know we have the one that was set up for the Culver Road that we could use as a model and just have Groton sign it, unless there's already something in existence. I haven't seen any, and I don't know when those connections were made.
Somewhat unique.
They were made quite a while ago. The ones on, the one you were talking about on the other side of Groton School Road is a pretty old water service, because we had if you remember, we had a hydrant that was hit by a car there.
Right.
And his meter pit got knocked over.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that at all. He was looking because he wanted to put 2 additional houses in there. That's the house I mentioned a couple of meetings ago that's for sale now?
The one on the left side?
Yes.
Okay,
So we need to still look at that, I think.
yeah.
No,
Where it is for sale.
and I agree with you with that, because you start snowballing, well, the house down the street needs a Title V and it's $30,000. Well, can I tie into Ayer? This particular project, being a taxpayer in both towns, already having water, I get that. But I agree with you, I think there should be an agreement, because then you start getting his neighbor, which is not in there. Do they pay higher rates? Do they pay the total tie-in fees? Is it,
If something goes wrong, what happens?
Sure.
I mean, normally, we had a cut-in on the road down in Sandy Pond for a culvert being put in where Patriot Way was. And they had a bond for the street. Is there a bond for them?
Not, this would be treated just like with a regular water or sewer service application. Their contractor has a bond.
Okay.
So they have to use a certified drain layer to put the connection in.
Yeah, I saw Powell was
He
up
has a
there.
bond, yeah.
And how does it work, like, so in my neighborhood and Spectacle Pond Wells is serviced by Littleton Electric. So is there an agreement with, like, I don't know, do we have an agreement with them to service us? Because that's the only way we're getting power out there. I mean, obviously it's a little different, but a similar situation.
No, I mean, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Through the chair to the board, in the case you brought up, Selectman Hillman, there is an agreement, an intermunicipal agreement between the town of Ayer and the Light District to provide the electricity or the power to that. Madam Chair, just respectfully, a suggestion, perhaps, I mean, it would be within the purview of the Board of Selectmen as the Water and Sewer Commissioners to develop a policy pertaining to any connections that are outside of the town's borders. And the second, because I've sort of heard some of that about having a policy, so it ultimately ends with you as the Water and Sewer Commissioners. Secondly, that authorization could be contingent upon a written intermunicipal agreement. And third, I know Selectman Hillman has raised that the idea that houses or connections that are outside of the town limits charging a higher rate or so forth, that would also be within the purview of the board, if you wanted to move in that direction.
Well, I'd like to start, I'd just like to make a motion that any new water and sewer connections from outside the town of Ayer into the town of Ayer come in front of the Water and Sewer Commission. As a motion.
All right, I'll second that motion. think makes sense. I mean, I don't think you have a problem with that, Mark. I mean,
No, I just.
This was unique. I mean, I didn't
and
know that at
that's-
first with the water and the and property and area and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and that's something we're in the process of finalizing an update to the sewer use regulations, and we can put that in, as well as we can amend the water regulations.
All right, motion's been made, seconded, all in favor?
Right.
All right.
Aye, motion passes.
The other thing I think we need to, as what Robert said, going forward, we need to fine tune this and come up with some kind of policy. You said you already had regs for sewer and maybe updating the water.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely.
If there's
put something
anything
in there.
else
Yeah.
that we may need in there as far as
Yeah.
intermunicipal agreements.
In the charge,
And
I mean,
charges.
through the chair.
If you can come up with some ideas and bring it forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and on that,
Yeah.
could we have like at least a draft, like on our July meeting as to this policy?
For just this policy, or
Yeah,
or
at
just
least
part of
a
the
draft for us to review, that gives you a
A
little time to get it done and everything, and then get it in front of the board so that we can review it.
Mhm.
So that, what do we meet, July 11th? Does that sound acceptable, that we have a draft by July 11th?
July 11th's a Saturday, but yeah, that's
Is it a
fine.
Saturday?
Yeah.
I think it's a 14.
July
For
14th?
14th.
Let's try July 14th, the Tuesday. Does that sound acceptable as to getting a draft to us?
July 11th too, if you wanted to.
You can send it to us.
I'm not the one doing the draft, but sounds reasonable.
Yeah, no, it's not a major effort.
Yeah. Well, it could be a final. We could approve the draft as a
You know,
final.
I'm sure there's other towns that have it, and then we probably would want to run it by town council just to make sure.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
For any general law that we're
Right.
in compliance.
Right?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, so. Oh, that's right, we're doing this first. Okay. Okay, Rob, yeah.
Madam
All right.
Chair, through you and members of the board, if there isn't objection, I'd ask the Chief of Police to come up to the table, and I appreciate the board's consideration in amending the agenda for these important appointments tonight. What you have in front of you is the appointment memo from Chief Murray for a part-time dispatcher, Ms. Kaylee McCarthy, and a per diem dispatcher, Mr. William Reed. And through the chair, I'd yield to Chief Murray to introduce the candidates for consideration.
Evening, everybody.
Hi.
I guess you can just tell who's who. Kaylee McCarthy and William Reed.
Have you seen Bruce Jenner lately? No offense intended.
Let me there.
No offense
Oh.
intended, okay?
Oh, that was wrong.
This has been a long search for us. When applications originally
Go
went
to the
out, we were
corner.
looking for both positions. We were hoping to get at least 2 per diems. We got 16 applications back. We interviewed 7, and which had before you was the cream of the crop. We're only getting 1 per diem, but at least we're getting our part-time position, which is very important to us. Both candidates are Ayer residents. That was huge for us.
That's great.
They're already trained in EMD and 911, so they're both certified. They passed our, as you know, stringent background investigation, and the investigators recommend both with confidence. And if I could just take them one at a time, our part-time candidate is Kaylee McCarthy. She's lived in Ayer since 2009 up on Grosvenor Street. She's a self-employed court transcriptionist and is training on a part-time basis with the Lynn Fire Department as a fire dispatcher. Previously employed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the State Police Crime Lab as a case management rep. She has a Bachelor of Science degree from Salem State College, has all the requirements necessary to be a dispatcher in the Commonwealth, and the only thing for us would be our hands-on training on our system, and she would need the bridge, what we call the bridge training. She is EMD certified, but she's EMD certified in the APCO. We use PowerPhone here and there, so it's basically the same thing, it's just a different flip chart. So she just needs to get 4 hours? It's a 4-hour bridge training.
Okay.
So that's Kaylee. William Reed is going to be our per diem, our requested per diem. He's lived in Ayer since 2007 up on Willard Street. Has been employed as a full-time dispatcher for the town of Wayland since 2013. He was in the Army, Army National Guard for 16 years and is a veteran of Operation Enduring Freedom. He has an associate's degree in criminal justice from Mount Wachusett. He has all the requirements necessary and will only need our hands-on training. He's already Power Phone certified. So those are our candidates for tonight.
Sounds like you've got some good candidates.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Chief, I'm sorry, Janice, how often, I mean, these positions are, they work quite a bit, right? I mean,
Well, our part-time position will take up the day shifts
Yeah.
on the weekends. So
Mhm.
it's, and then our per diems will take up whenever other dispatchers need time off. Right now, our regular full-time has been handling that full load and they're pretty tired.
Sure.
So this is going to be huge for us.
Okay.
All right.
It always seems to be the problem.
Right, nobody wants to be a dispatcher, they all want to be cops. They can't figure it out. I'd rather be a dispatcher.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Kaylee McCarthy as the part-time dispatcher per recommendation of Chief Murray. And I would also make a motion to accept William Reed as the per diem dispatcher as at the request of Chief Murray.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Welcome aboard.
No offense taken. If I call, you're not gonna hang up on me or anything.
Everybody hangs up on Gary, so go ahead, hang up on him, it's okay.
We'll just use the long way around.
Congratulations. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to be at the FinCon meeting as well as the fire chief. Do you want me to come back down for the executive session at the end of the meeting?
If you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's up to you
stop-
guys.
Yeah, stop
Stop
by.
by.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Gill.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you,
Good to see you back
everybody.
there.
Welcome aboard.
And look, the room just empties, nobody wants to stay to the end.
He is here. Right, Peter?
Okay. Robert, before you continue, did you print out what I had sent you?
Hey,
Because
too.
I did print it out and I left it at home.
Wait, too.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so, goals and objectives. This ought to be good. So I know we've discussed a couple of things already earlier this evening. I had come up with a couple of things that I had sent to Robert, kind of broke it down for like potential Board of Selectmen goals and objectives. We had touched on the nuisance bylaw, but we had actually, didn't we, joint meeting between the Board of Health and Board of Selectmen, ask Gabe to update this?
Update the nuisance bylaw?
Yeah, remember we asked, it was discussed as far as it needed to be strengthened, but he was gonna work on it. So what I would like is that we kind of have a deadline as to when that will come before us to be reviewed for hopeful inclusion in town meeting.
Was the previous nuisance bylaw passed on to the Attorney General in light of other developments today?
Yes,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
yes, and through the chair,
Six
to
on the
these
bylaw,
days.
wasn't
through
it?
the chair to the board, if memory serves, the building commissioner was asked at a previous joint meeting to prepare some recommendations to strengthen the bylaw, and I will speak to him on that.
Well,
And,
it would be nice to have, now that the position's posted for the,
right.
Right.
to have the bylaw, correct?
And to the point of, again, I think a deadline is helpful. I think if we use that same July
14th,
deadline
yeah.
for the draft proposal for this board to consider, that would allow adequate time for preparation for consideration at the fall town meeting, if that's the will of the board.
I think, we should set these goals and then hopefully, see where we're going. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think because I think what we had that joint meeting, was it
Yeah.
like January or
Been a
something?
while.
Yeah, it's been some
So,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we really should get something back.
Mhm.
As far as, like you said, at least a draft we can review and then be able to tweak it if needed and then get it through the process of putting on town meeting. So yes, could we have that for July 14th? That'd be nice.
Okay.
And I would also suggest that we have a meeting with all the departments that are involved in it too, to make sure we
Yes.
are on the same page.
Yeah, well, I think that he was also going to be working with them.
Yes.
Yes, so if he's doing his job right, they should already have some form of concurrence when it comes forward to us on July 14th. And then we'll go from there, as far as what else needs to be scheduled, and stuff like that, so, okay? Then, another idea that I come up with, and I touched on this with Robert as to whether or not this is needed, and we're kind of yes, no, but it was kind of bothersome at our last meeting when, we had an RFP that went out really, really late after a town meeting, and maybe we should come up with some type of a policy procedure as to RFPs. They all have a boilerplate language in it, like realistic timing for release of an RFP. I mean, that really should have gone out immediately after town meeting of May 2014, and it didn't, and that's ended up into a bigger boat, which is why we're having a special town meeting after the super town meeting.
So what would you propose?
Well, that's, we kind of come up with, that's where we're kind of stuck a little bit.
Is it more glaring because of the timing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if this was,
One of the things.
and I'm not disagreeing with you, but is it, if this was 6 months from now and this price came in and we had already approved the money and we found out it was over, would it be as big of a deal? I mean, I know it's a lot of money, but
Well,
I'm
if
just
it was
saying.
6 months from now, would that say that the RFP was submitted immediately after town meeting?
Well, no, there's a lot of good questions here. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Like,
so, but therein lies a question as to, at what point do you finally get the RFP out?
No, it could be a number of reasons why it doesn't go out either.
Right.
So it can't be a hard and fast policy.
Okay.
No, because I
Okay.
think Mark had mentioned there was issues with the engineer, there was, and I'm not, saying that there wasn't other issues or other projects that took precedent. But
Well, that's why I brought it up for just a thought.
this could have been just a.
Yeah, just a
perfect
thought.
timing.
I do think, through the
Yes.
chair to the board, I do think that there are two opportunities for improvement in this area, and I think we've all seen it. One is, in looking in the town's records prior to some time ago, in terms of the capital planning process, in major projects, multi-year projects, the capital planning function would fund the funding, the funding for design in 1 year, and then revisit and look at the actual construction costs and so forth.
Which we've done.
So
Yeah.
that, I think, a return to that may help in some cases, and I know that Selectman Hillman and Livingston on the rate review and capital, we've seen some of that we've been approving, and there's nothing wrong with this, but we've been approving these very large projects, the whole thing, when perhaps it should be design, then the whole project, because what you get from that too is, I think, a much more accurate estimate on the project piece. We always deal in estimates to some extent, but we'd have a clearer picture. I think the second piece is the board may want to consider in projects that are, say, approved through capital and projects approved by town meeting, there could be a policy that if the project is approved by town meeting, there is a certain specific deadline that it needs to be procured and so forth. Because sort of what happens is not reflection on anybody, but town meeting.
Much like the street signs.
Town meeting, the street
Full pencil
signs,
inspector.
the street sign. In other words, town meeting occurs, and then there's like this ocean of time, if you will. So I think that's.
And we could have it in the procedure where, with the policy, where it's kind of written at, okay, say for example, you had this arbitrary, it had to be out within 60 days of whatever event. And this happened, then you just, submit a request through the board, hey, this happened, giving an extension, but at least then we're aware of why things are being delayed, rather than, a year later where we're sitting here with our mouths to the floor going, what? So that's the thinking as to coming up with something like that, just to kind of
Expedite it.
but also kind of give benchmarks, clearer benchmarks of like, okay, this happened, now we got this.
Which, and I think with the town engineer on board now too, this should, for this department,
Right.
should be able to move faster, I would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's certainly worth considering.
Okay. So we'll come up with some
Because
type
you
of-
are right, we get to that point, it passes, and then 12 other things happen, and
Right, but
We all get-
at least if we have that benchmark of, this is what needs to be, if something does come up and things are getting delayed, we'll get a faster heads up. And I think that's really kind of what's needed, is that there's some type of an indicator saying, okay, now you contact the board to let them know this, and this happened, rather than we didn't know.
Right.
So what
That's what I would kind of like to see us come up with if we can.
So how do we keep track of that? How do we,
Well, in the case of, if it was an article at town meeting, then the article tracking system will help track with that. Because that is also something that Robert would be talking to the department heads, and in his staff meetings, one would assume that would come up as to what's the status on this and this and this, and then we would get the feedback as to, okay, Article 12 from town meeting or whatever, this action has happened, or this has been delayed due to, because if they're saying something's going to get done by August and it doesn't, then we should have a heads up as to why.
Well, is it, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's reasonable to meet after town meeting with the articles that have passed. I don't think we could meet all the department heads and say, give us a time frame of when this is going out for RFP or whatever, when this is completed. Does that sound, I don't want to overthink it, because for the most part it works. There are some examples that it hasn't. This, I think, was timing that made it look worse than it probably could have been, a week
I
after
guess,
town meeting.
it seems like East Main Street's been going on forever too, but
Well, yes. Mary?
Madam Chair, I was just wondering if maybe you, the top dog here, every quarter
Who's that, Pierre?
could give an update on the capital projects. Because sometimes we approve them and then we don't hear anything about them, and people say, whatever happened to that? And they often go on 2 or 3 years, so if you could give it quarterly to say we've completed this, because about the only thing people know is if there's streets being dug out, okay, they know about that, a new vehicle because they see it passing, but there's a lot of other ongoing projects, so maybe that would help too.
Well, and that kind of plays into to the article tracking system, because that, with the new article submission, it says, what's the timeline for this? When you hope to start it, when do you hope to complete it? And that gives us goal posts. And then I believe I don't think we really discussed, but I think quarterly, come type of an update to us is like, okay, this was done, or this isn't going to be done, because being on the Water and Sewer Rate Commission, we found that there's been articles since 2005 that, we had to go, when are you going to do it? And I kept getting told, well, I'm busy, but I know it was approved before you, but that was 2005 and now it's 2015. So that's why I kind of come up with this tracking system to try to end this. Perhaps my verbiage of policy procedure is too harsh, maybe more of a guideline, goalposts of a guideline or something. But again, just kind of hitting benchmarks, a reminder, because people do get busy.
I actually am in the process of taking that tracking system and making a spreadsheet, master spreadsheet for Robert to discuss when we have department head meetings, like exactly what you're talking about. So it's going to be a spreadsheet project, and an anticipated timeline, but so we can check monthly with the department heads,
Right.
what's going on, or we're still waiting for a designer, and then we can update that spreadsheet and, quarterly or monthly, whatever. Just because why do the tracking system if you're not going to follow up?
Well, actually, I never got back to you, but I did create something in Access that you can actually do a query as to what's open and what's closed, and I never got back to you on that because but I can actually show you that and see if it will work
Sure.
for you guys as to, if it's feasible or if the spreadsheet works better. Okay. But yeah, I gotta get back to
And
you on
in
that
terms of
one.
the capital, maybe the capital needs to meet a few times in the off season to follow up with these projects. I mean, we've been pretty good at saying,
Mhm.
you haven't gotten it done, you're not getting it
Right,
at our meetings. So maybe we convene every once in a while to get an update. 'Cause that also helps the following year too, because I know there's always that question, well, what happened to this? Well, we're still waiting, but we want this.
And you don't want to go forward with a whole bunch more if six
right,
or seven.
right. We
previous
need,
ones
we
have
need to
been-
close some loops.
Correct.
Because especially when that's been money appropriated, we need to close some loops.
And there's been some
And so we
loops.
can go forward.
In defense of Mark, there was some things that were floating out there for an eternity too, before him.
Oh, he inherited a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
and I think he has
absolutely.
closed a lot, and I think there's other things that are out there that, we can all improve on everything,
Yeah.
but.
So, but anyway, so that was an idea. And then we had discussed over the winter a snow standard operating procedure.
Yep.
So I would think that, I know that originally we discussed that we want to see it prior to us announcing, like winter parking ban and everything. So maybe we should
Yep.
put like an October
Yeah,
timeframe.
I have some suggestions that I'd like to add to that procedure too, if possible. I mean, not right now, but I mean,
Okay.
Well, yeah, it was kind of thrown together, in my opinion. What was brought in front of us, that there is an SOP when there really wasn't, and it was kind of thrown together. So I think it's important that there is something in place
Okay.
for next year, on all aspects of winter. And from the minute this flake falls to when it's removed and when it's stopped being removed. And
Okay.
where we get, when do we get our salt, and
Right.
yes,
why are we making back channel phone calls to Chelsea to get
Yes.
salt? And that's not their fault, but.
Right.
And communication with the hired contractors. I was not aware that the hired contractors are not supplying radios, CVs. So there's no communication. So if you're off plowing, I have to come find you physically
Mhm.
on your route, where
Oh.
we can certainly pick up spend $100 on a radio where the contractor is in constant contact with Doug or whoever's running the
Right.
operation to keep it a lot more seamless.
and again, in conjunction with those street acceptances, what gets plowed and what doesn't.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I heard Old Groton School Road was perfect this past winter, they said.
Oh,
Yeah,
they were
thrilled.
tickled pink.
Yep.
They were down there
tickled
with
pink.
We
a,
all got a Christmas card from them.
with a plow, with a,
Regular plow.
yeah.
Yeah, go figure.
Worked, yeah.
Yes, and
Funny how that worked.
yeah. So, okay, so since this is something the board had discussed prior, when would we like to see this in front of us?
I'd say first meeting in September, the
I was
latest.
just gonna say, we need to be, because I think we should meet, I think we should brainstorm, because Mark might have some good ideas, there might be some ideas that, there might be some purchases we may need to make for them for radios and
Okay.
how to vet these contractors too, because honestly, the contractors took the snow removal a step back this year.
Why don't, if I could suggest it, why don't we
What bed you-
have
What's
the
that? No, I
draft
agree.
to the
but-
board for the August meeting?
Okay.
And then that first meeting in September, in that interim period, after you've seen it, I'm sure there'll be suggestions, input, and then for finalization in September.
I think that sounds good.
So the preliminary draft for August.
Well, it makes it
Yeah.
easier too.
No, 'cause we wanna get it in
We don't have
place, 'cause it
business
could
lines.
snow
I mean,
October.
This was awful this year, and I mean,
Yeah, so,
So-
okay, great.
hopefully this was an anomaly and we won't ever see it again.
Okay, and then,
Yeah.
so the other day, oh, I'm sorry.
No. Just real quick, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Through you to the board, back to, on Selectman Hillman's discussion on the nuisance bylaw for
Mhm.
July 14th. I know we had discussed, and this board had previously put in a temporary policy, but it was a development of two things having to do with signs. A definitive permanent policy pertaining to political signs and other signs, placement of signs, and looking at a potential bylaw amendment pertaining to signs as well. Is that something we want to roll into it was something that happened at the same time as the discussion on the nuisance bylaw.
It's been much better.
Yeah.
You know, I think the chief and Gabe had recommended into the rotary on the right and into the rotary on the right as you
Okay.
come from. And I think that's working out better because I think it's safer. As Gabe said, I've never been sold on anything driving, looking to my left
Yeah.
at 30 miles an hour on the rotary. But it's not so much for local people. It's
Right.
for friends from Harvard and other towns who tend to, or not KFC, but Taco Bell decided to put 400 signs in the rotary, not knowing. But
Okay.
we just want a safe place for signs because signs are part of the community, obviously.
Oh, yeah, right, as out of the political
I
process.
think those two spots that were designated were safe and they were very
Okay.
obvious, but I mean, obviously, if there's
Okay.
other suggestions.
No,
I just don't think the middle is safe.
No, I think that works. I just,
Yes.
to cross the,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
So, yeah, whether that's a policy or if that's just,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
it has improved to some extent.
yeah, it has, yes.
And then the other day, we were sent a notice that, a request to come up with a policy and procedure for Chapter 61 notifications.
There's a request from the park commissioners?
Yes.
Well, it seems
Well,
to me.
I want to say this, that, you know, a request that we notify them within 3 business days or 72 hours is not realistic. Because, first of all, you're going to get the notification. You're going to notify us that you got the notification while also asking town council to review the notification. And by the time we've heard from town council, and then the 3 of us have had a chance to actually meet.
Right.
I have a real issue with this letter that came.
Yeah,
We
I
have
mean,
another one came
it was.
today.
Well, so this is
From a
obviously, and I think
conservation.
we're all going to agree, this has been an orchestrated solicitation. We have, and I have a ton of respect for the Park Commission, and Mary can attest to this, and Mary's the one that said it. We can't even get a 5-year capital plan out of the Parks Commission on work we are trying to do for them. And we're getting letters saying that they want to be informed about land that has nothing to do with the park and the Conservation Commission, and this is all orchestrated by one parcel up there, which is really starting to get under my skin about how this has been conducted, not by us or anybody at this table.
Well, to follow along with that, I
It's
was a little
frustrating me.
upset with this request also because I will remind everybody, as the former chairman said that night, we did not have a legitimate request. We did not have a legitimate Chapter 61 notification. We also had the owners of the property saying it wasn't for sale, and that we weren't even having a public hearing that ended up turning into a public hearing, and the former chair did a wonderful job trying to get that back on track. So to then get this request, and with a 3-day notice, it's not even realistic. So,
Was it written by the Parks? I'm not trying to get conspiracy theory here, and I'm sure I'm going to hear
You
about
know,
it tomorrow,
just-
but I'm
but
very, I was
going to
frustrated by
acknowledge,
it.
we're acknowledging we got it, the request, and take it under advisement, but
Okay.
3 days is not ever going to happen.
I just don't understand what people don't understand. The buck stops here with the 3
Right.
of us.
And just for,
When it goes up, and there's a public hearing, we will
Mm-hmm.
advertise it, we will sit here, we will listen,
And we'll do what we're supposed to
we'll
do.
do what we're supposed to do, and then we'll make the decision that best suits the town, not people who border that property or who
Yeah.
have solicited people to come vote on that property, because it doesn't work that way.
And not only
It's
that,
frustrating me.
if we were even going to discuss it, if we know we're going to discuss it, it's on the agenda.
Absolutely.
So, which is, I will remind everybody, the agenda is posted online. It's, when you walk into the selectman's office, it's posted, so it's very open.
And we're not privy to any more
This is something that came in
information,
after
and-
the agenda.
There's no secret information here.
No.
We're waiting for the process to be followed, then we get
Exactly.
presented,
Exactly.
we discuss, and
Well, obviously, they thought that we were hiding something.
Yeah, so,
well, the
I'm offended.
landowner,
I'm
the
offended.
landowner throwing out things that the selectmen have already said they don't want to was frustrating.
Yeah,
to
when
see.
did we say that?
We
Because
didn't.
we didn't, exactly. And you said it that night,
Yeah.
and we're reiterating, we never said that.
So
So,
hopefully we can put this to bed.
yeah,
and-
so,
and just through the chair, where we are now, the ball is back in the property owner's court. As the board knows, all the paperwork, you responded within the statutory timeline. Those notices have been sent, registered, certified to the property owners that the notice was deficient, and now we're waiting to get a sufficient notice, and then we will continue with the process with the public hearing, et cetera, et cetera.
And when you have somebody saying they're not selling, it's kind of hard to consider buying, so just saying. So I did want to address that because it was, we were offended. So.
I would agree with that.
Compassionate care.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, actually. I was
Okay,
gonna bring that
we
up.
need
It
to
wasn't.
have that on the agenda.
Yes.
Yes.
As
And I-
far as
Mhm.
whatever we're going to be doing.
Right.
as what-
Yeah, and I apologize. I was trying to get him to come in, one of my last two meetings as chair, and he wanted to, and then I don't know, we got busy or whatever, but I think with all the law changes, and I don't know where he stands over there, but I think it would be good to get him in, because there's been a lot of changes. I was reading last night online about the
Yeah.
changes in the permitting process and how
Yeah.
it works for him, and I don't know where he stands in terms of opening him.
Through the chair, would the board like to have him come in to give an update? Because he has to, by law, come before the board, and the town has to enter into a pilot agreement, payment in lieu of taxes with him,
Yeah.
Right.
before the DPH will allow him.
And he's
to
more
go.
than willing. He was
Right,
he was
and he's-
excited to come that
And last I heard,
meeting,
he's
and
he's finishing up the project and the final inspections, and of course, he still has to have the pilot agreement, but does
Right.
the board want him to come in
Yes.
briefly to give just an update as to where
Yeah,
that's
Yes.
at?
I think so, and he was willing to
Okay.
do this
Next
a-
meeting, I'd
a
say.
month ago.
Next
and-
meeting
And that
is
was
the
my fault. I
16th,
dropped
the
the ball
16th?
before the agenda was done.
Yeah, we had a bunch of things.
Yeah,
So
something came
June
up,
16th,
but he was happy to come.
okay, for a brief update.
And I will get to his credit, he did keep that building as not part of compassionate care. That building is on the tax rolls. And that is
It
a
is.
taxable building, so I do give him a lot of credit for that, because he could have put that into the nonprofit, so people should know that.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
do you know, I read too about this changes in the law. Is it going to require that every department that sent a letter before, do we need to send them again because he had come and had several public hearings?
I was kind of
Yeah,
wondering that
that's
myself
one
because I
before that
saw
helped
that and I was like, well, we did send a letter. Does he
We
need
did
a
too.
new one? So,
That-
yeah, that would be
we'll
one other
find
thing we
out.
would need to identify.
I don't
Yes.
think
Yeah.
so.
I don't think so, and
Yeah.
John, from what I understand, was,
We'll confirm,
was,
yeah.
Yeah.
and you know I opposed the project, so but I'm speaking highly of him as a person, was right up there with following every letter of the law with this, and I know that the DPH was happy with the way he was conducting himself over there. Of course, it's held up a lot longer than he anticipated.
Well, to clarify, you opposed the project at the
I
time
did.
because you didn't have enough information.
Yeah,
So,
and
just to kinda
and honestly,
clarify.
I still oppose the project, but I think he's the right man to do it. I think he's gonna do a good job with it, but
So we'll,
Okay.
assuming his availability, we'll plan for just a brief update from him on the 16th.
yeah, no,
Yes.
he's more than willing to come.
Okay.
I actually told him you'd call him, and then I never told you to call him, so that's my
Have you
fault.
been in touch with us, just kind of
Informally here and there.
waiting for?
Yeah, and that's
Right.
probably,
You
yeah. That's,
wanted those to be done, you were gonna
Sure.
maybe go over and look at it, but we're just waiting for
Yeah.
those inspections from the state to kind of
Yeah.
kick in, so.
Does that mean you won't be voting for legalized marijuana in the state of Massachusetts?
oh, I didn't say that.
Oh,
I
okay.
just said-
All right.
Oh, that he'll fall for. And then the next thing on my list is actually something under Selectman Lucas, so.
Yeah.
What was that?
The free cash.
What's your,
Yeah, but what do,
well, I just,
we can wait.
I
Yeah.
just, also, I mean, you can discuss it now if you'd like to, if you want to move it up, but the free cash, enterprise funds, policy, procedure, parameters.
Shirley thing's got me on my edge of my seat, so whatever one
Oh,
you
I-
do first.
No, it's just, I can wait and
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
Robert go through his appointments and stuff.
Okay.
I just wanted to say some of the goals and objectives, which I don't know if we discussed them at all, that we've given Robert. But everything here that's written here, I agree with as far as goals and objectives for Robert.
Are you
That's-
referring to the memo I submitted to
Yes.
the board?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, yep.
I'm all for them. And I think we should hold your butt to the fire and make sure you get them all done.
Robert, did you want this list back as to?
And maybe we'll
Yeah,
give
that'd
you,
be
half.
helpful, yeah.
maybe we'll give you some.
Yeah,
I will now.
so those are, so, Robert,
Yeah.
were you gonna add that?
I'm gonna add, why don't
to your
I,
discussion?
to the discussion? Yes, so, from the town administrator point of view, and of course, these goals really, it's the board, town administrator, department heads, it's all interconnected to some extent. So, one is, and we were hearing this sort of loud and clear from the board, is, and Carly touched upon it earlier, which is underway, meaning this matrix, if you will. So having an overall department prioritization list. So starting in June, I have been having monthly department head meetings. I'm going to move to twice a month, and I'll explain under my report in more detail, because there's a lot of things that need to be done, and we need to kick it up a notch with these deadlines and so forth. But overall department prioritization, I will be meeting with all of the department heads that report to the board in June to do evaluations in the goal setting. So I want their priorities. I touched upon that at the last staff meeting. With respect to the non-union compensation study for town meeting, I have set a deadline, met with the department heads and everyone covered a June 12th deadline to get all of the loose ends from the departments, if you will, into the personnel board. And the plan is to have that before town meeting in October for the deliberation by town meeting and either a yes or no vote to bring that to conclusion to
Should have been before the
close that out.
spring town meeting.
Yeah.
The personnel board voted unanimously to defer it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
One of the
The fire now.
One of the things that I think that we need to look at too, is, and this is, I've got to just preface this because it is not a reflection of anybody on the personnel board. It's not a reflection of the personnel board. But we have had a lot of challenges there over the last almost 5 years. And those challenges are failure to get a quorum for long periods of time. We have had the reclassification process as set forth has become, and this the record speaks for it, has become a political public volleyball game. In the reclassification process has been problematic in that the 7 that have been brought forth, only 1 has been successful. I think that the personnel policy manual, the last update was done in 2011, and there were some issues then, and we're already now 4 years out, and there's a need to look at the manual again. And there is, and again, not a reflection on anybody serving, but there are criticisms made, constructive criticisms, that when you have employees or residents that are employees, or also members of the FinCom, and maybe this is the nature of the personnel board, but there's always been criticism as to how neutral and how, to an extent, impartial is it. So I think there's a question really for the board to consider, is what do we do about the whole, I mean, it's set by the personnel bylaw, so any changes require an action of town meeting, but I think we really need to look at.
It's been a useless board in my 4 years here, for the most part. It's been
Well, half the time it
squabbling.
wasn't even,
Yeah, and then we had, the press and former selectmen who interjected and felt that they were on it and muddled the waters, that they always muddle whenever they open their mouth.
You know you're gonna get that it's a power grab for the Board of Selectmen, that's why they wanna get rid of
And
it.
you know what, I think, and I agree with you.
Why is it
and-
a power grab?
No, it isn't, I'm just
I
saying,
know,
that's
but-
what you're gonna get.
You're right, why? But you know
how
what?
can it be a power grab?
I think this board, over the last year, has demonstrated that there's been no power grab on anything. I mean, I prefer to pass the buck as much as I can to stuff that we don't need to hear. I
He
offer
does.
that not
That's
hear,
not right to me.
people.
Yeah, and there's no,
So,
I'm not,
that's
my
how I
point,
feel about it.
just for the purpose
Just get
of
it done.
tonight, when I say as a goal or as an objective, as the board myself, the town, we need to really, as a collective, look at this and come up with a plan moving forward, because it is broken. And that's not a reflection, and I am most appreciative for all those that have come forward to serve on it and the time that's put in. It's not a reflection on that. It's just, there's been a lot of challenges, and I think we need to look at that, now with the payroll benefits manager position in place, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not saying abolish the bylaw, but I'm saying if in most
Something needs to be
the
fixed.
changes to the bylaw may be needed. So I need to put together again something, some thoughts on that for consideration, so we can have a more detailed discussion. But I think we've talked about this in the past as a goal or an objective for the town, looking at the issue of personnel. What do we do about it?
Volunteers, I mean.
Yeah.
Many towns, and speaking with Town Labor Council today and previously, and many towns are moving away from personnel boards. They have personnel policies and a manual and bylaw and all of that, but it's resting more and more on your sort of human resource department, your town administrator, your full-time professional folks to administer a lot of that personnel.
And where does the buck ultimately stop when it goes bad? Right here.
So,
Bad definitely here.
Yeah,
And that's when
yeah.
it becomes it's a power grab.
Yeah, so we haven't heard the power grab for a while, since our,
I'm sure we'll hear it again
yeah.
yeah.
with other stuff too.
So that's
Good.
I will.
Well, you know what? If I know, I will say that if I see something that I think needs to be tweaked, I bring it up. I've brought it up tonight. And if somebody's going to consider that a power grab, oh well, too bad, so sad, move on, get a life.
No, it's true. I mean, we've
You
all
know,
we've all talked to department heads about various issues. I mean, or asked questions. I mean, I think that's our job.
Yep.
I asked a ton of questions to department heads or various to find out what's going on.
Which is
So,
sort of ties
was that
into
paragraph?
the next
No.
next one from Selectman Hillman had mentioned, is on the issue of our various committees about, we do the annual report, and then the annual report is required by statute, but this concept of having maybe twice a year or once a year, having the committee submit a report or an update to this board. I mean, the board obviously can call anybody and has before the board, for updates and stuff. But I guess my question is, and we have departmental reports, monthly ones, and some need to get back on the monthly bandwagon. We talked about
Some?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that, and will again. What would be most helpful to the board as far as information from committees/departments?
Well, I mean, currently, the committee guide, I think,
Yeah.
even states that, once a year, I think that at the very least, we should at least get it once a year, because we're not,
Okay.
Once a month, right? Is that what
Well,
you're
for
talking about?
department
Well,
heads,
there-
it's going to be
there's some
once
of
a
the-
month.
Well, it's all committees.
But we're talking like the
Oh,
energy
committees itself,
committee,
Yeah.
the
is
dam and
that,
pond
You know,
committee.
that there's kind of a policy that is
Yeah.
kind of fallen to the wayside, and I guess, my background says, well, if you got a policy, you gotta follow it. And if you're not gonna follow it, then you gotta find out why you're not gonna follow it, and if it's because it's broken, then you need to fix it. We haven't established anything's broken, we're just establishing that it's not being followed. It's being ignored. And I think part of it was because, we didn't get time to do it last year. We were busy,
Is it necessary?
I
Our
find-
policies say we're supposed to meet with department heads twice a year
Right, if the policy says that,
of the
correct.
board.
Yeah.
Is that necessary?
For us to meet with them?
Yeah.
I feel like we meet with every
Yeah, the
every
departments-
second Tuesday. I mean,
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
have them in
I
front of
mean,
us,
we
and
meet
we've kind
Chief
of
Murray, Chief Pedrazi,
So why don't
Mark.
we take it out of our policies?
because we have given. I mean, I know, and we've all been chair in the last 3 years. We have the leeway to ask more questions, like we do tonight. I think we get a lot more information that way. And I think the monthly reports are good for the people of the town. I mean, Chief, do you mind doing a monthly report on the department? I mean, I think people find them interesting. How many calls?
It is kind of labor intensive.
Yeah.
But, and that's what the public wants, that's what the public wants.
I mean,
You're right, everyone that goes to one.
well, I mean, I find that the police stuff on the Facebook page is looked at a ton. I mean, people
Yeah.
like that. You know, we did this, we got this grant, we did this, we got a new cruiser. Same with Chief Pedrazi. I'd like to see more from the highway department because we get asked questions of what they're doing. And I'm not saying they're not doing stuff, but they might be down in the catch basin, no one sees it, and they're, you know, doing a lot of work. That's how I feel about it. The Parks Department, it's been a while since we saw one from them. And other,
Yeah, you would have-
And
the
the dam and
the Council on
pond.
Aging is right there every month.
But I would
Yeah.
like that one
Yes.
electronically.
Electronic and corrected.
And yes, could we spell the word treasurers right?
So then, in addition to that, just to conclude between that and what I submitted, for fall town meeting, the fall town meeting, there'll be some cleanup articles potentially on different topics. One of them, which ties into a goal that I put forward moving over to this, is obviously the comprehensive plan is going to be an annual policy, annual effort. I put that forth as a goal. An update and implement a BOS executive minute system, just so this whole thing is tied together, completed. There's been for the last year moving forward, get this all formalized. I mentioned the personnel review. I have asked Kevin, and we are developing and implementing this townwide wellness program as well as the Maya Rewards program. We've done bits and pieces of both in the past here and there, but this will be a formalized program run out of there. The public records inventory and disposal, that's ongoing between our office, the town clerk's office. Capital has and was approved by town meeting some digitization of records, but in overall, it's amazing things that were retained that are not required to be retained, and it's also amazing some of the things that need to be retained.
So we have a retained.
Right. And the DPW superintendent and I and the town engineer met with town council this morning and had a very productive meeting to develop a plan for this board for all of the unaccepted streets in town. So I'll have an update on that shortly for you, and you're going to see that some of these are going to show up as articles in the fall town meeting. The whole effort here is that we have a comprehensive plan to address unaccepted streets on various levels. Whether in some case some were never accepted, and it's just an issue
I'd
of
be amazed at some of the ones that
procedure, right? Then there are some that are challenges. What this board will have, we will have a comprehensive plan as the highway, as the road commissioners. You'll have a plan and a timeline to make some significant progress on that. So we met for 2 hours this morning. It was a very productive meeting, and there'll be more information coming for you and the public on that. The upgrade of the town website, as Cindy mentioned, that is underway. And a key point of this, and she spent a lot of time on this, is that not only does the new website is user-friendly and has a new 21st century look to it instead of, and I'm not knocking, but the red margins. And
It's gonna breathe.
but
It's
to
gonna breathe,
Selectman
Tom.
Lucas' point, it does have all of the capability to host the online payments and the permitting, and there is some funding from the previous permitting effort that we're just in the process of clarifying to use, that I have made it clear to IT and the IT committee that, and this will be the second year, but it will come to conclusion, that the online permitting and additional online modules come to full fruition by the end of this calendar year. Some of that is under, like, the parking tickets have been added online, but to get it all together. So the website and the improvements that David talked about tonight, I know they sort of look blocky on here, but when you see the new look with some of that, it'll be
They're like the buttons, it'll be
Yeah.
like buttons and everything.
because I know that this board is key on that. And then I had just put the other final one, in addition to, of course, the budget and the warrant, which the board knows and is involved in, is no small undertaking either, is coming to conclusion with a proposal some of you, all of you have thoughts on this, which is good about, we're going to call it, for lack of a better word, a land use department. In other words, really looking at the whole, and there's some issues that still have to be resolved, but the issue of planning, all of these components of land use, is it set up and structured in the most efficient way? Efficiencies both in terms of customer service, but also efficiencies in cost efficiencies and so forth.
Not presently constructed, no.
Right, so what I'm saying is I think that we would need to have, like, right up on the board, if you will, a proposal and a plan, and how do we do that, and it involves some institutional, I'm not going to say challenges, institutional opportunities, because like when it comes to the planning board, their elected board, there's some union issues. I'm just saying, I don't see those as killing the effort. I think we just need to get that all synthesized. So I believe that those, in addition to what was talked about tonight, are, to Selectman Luca's point at the last meeting about being attainable goals that a year from now, looking at that, we can achieve them. And like in any goal, some things may change, what have you, but we can have a benchmark for progress. I think it's realistic. There's nothing in here, given the next 12 months with the resources that we have, that we can't bring to fruition.
Actually, it sounds exhausting. I don't know. So.
And I think someone asked at the last meeting, so I'll throw it in right now. We were talking about, maybe it was you, Gary, about the new structure over in Littleton, the new basketball courts and the playground. And we thought that was grant money. That was CPC money.
Yeah, they changed the law in
Yeah.
CPC about recreation.
Yeah, so.
At one time, you couldn't use the money.
Correct. So I talked to Jim Carr, the chairman over there, and he was explaining it to me. And I mean, that's something, I mean, some people are so hell-bent on buying certain parcels. I mean, maybe CPC money should be helping our park down there. I know, Mary, we've talked about this at Capitol. We have to get, and I know it's hard, and I've tried, we need to get the park commission in here at our meeting and discuss their long-term plans too.
When, through the chair,
I mean, that's
you're right,
for
through
you,
the chair
but-
to that point, I mean, Selectman Hillman.
You're elected.
Selectman Hillman is.
Well, they're all on board, it's just,
Right.
I mean, it's not.
Is correct that, and it's not a shot at the commission
No,
in any
no,
way.
good people.
But it is evident that there needs to be a 5-year capital plan. It is evident that there are storage issues and function issues, meaning, and it should be located to, I think, at their hub, if you will, at Corona
Right.
Park. And they are elected commission, so perhaps the first step would be to invite them to come in here to get the ball,
I agree.
have that discussion. So when would you like to?
I mean, I think sooner than later. I mean,
Right.
we've already missed, we asked them to come back to Capitol because the committee was wanting to give them more, not more than what they were asking for, but what we think is needed. And like Mary, I know the first thing Mary says is, where is the 5-year plan? Every other
Yeah.
department has a
Right.
5-year plan. We had a sketch on a napkin for a new building. And, and I'm not trying to be rude, because they do, I mean, Jeff does an amazing job down
Oh,
there.
yeah, it's excellent
What he
programs,
does, but-
too.
And they
Yeah.
fund, like, through the signs that I put down there for my business, pay for backstops and fences, and they do a great job, but, you know, a CPC investment or something along, I know we talked about the fire station funds, if that ever sells in our lifetime. Formerly, we talked about maybe.
What?
Say that again.
Oh, no, nothing's happened, don't
What?
get worried, don't get excited.
I missed it.
It's the
The fire station. The old
That
fire
was sold. You told me it was sold.
Oh, yeah.
Where's my balloons?
No, it's not sold.
No, well,
Is that why I haven't gotten the balloons?
It-
You
it-
lied to me.
We don't have a check.
you have the
Check,
first
cash.
check. You have the first check.
Oh, we have the first check.
You do.
So I should have at least 2 balloons.
Yes, you'll get your 2.
But
balloons.
if it's the fact that, I mean, in these
Right.
in these committees, a lot of these guys are like me. They have they're full time, but they have 3 kids in the sports programs.
I think that's part of it. I think
Yeah, no, I
it's
agree.
not to use the word scary, but it's a lot. So
It is.
and I think there
And
are
it's the
ways
same people who
some
are
of the departments,
dedicated.
myself, others, this
But we
board
could
can
help.
help them. So
I guess is what I'm.
So, since they're elected, why don't you see if you can coordinate, if they can make our next meeting? That would be great.
okay, the
Definitely
16th, see if they can
14th.
just to start that
and Derek
discussion.
and Jeff and
And,
Yeah.
And, discuss with them, like,
Right.
Well, basically what we've discussed, and
Okay.
then, work with them as to when they can come in.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, so,
And so,
we got a lot to do.
yeah, what I can do for the 16th is I'll prepare all of this now onto one document, so we have it
Okay.
on the 16th, and then the board can approve it on the 16th. I mean,
Okay.
some of these are underway, so
Okay.
we're all on the same page.
Sounds good.
All right?
Sounds good.
So with that, just real quick, if I may, through the chair, to my administrative report, we've touched upon a lot of them, so it'll be even briefer. As I mentioned, the unaccepted street,
such thing.
the unaccepted street plan effort is underway at a very positive meeting, and left that meeting feeling that we will make some significant progress, and we will have prepared some significant progress for town meeting to consider in the fall in terms of resolving some of these longstanding issues. I already talked about the personnel study update. I did want to bring to the board's attention, and I transmitted an email to the Board of Selectmen and the FinCom tonight before this meeting, and it has to do with the bylaw issue in preparing for the appointments, and tonight is the first part of the appointments process. We were looking at I was working with the town clerk, and we were looking at this, and we've been some concerns about the Finance Committee on June 30th not having a quorum and so forth. Make a long story short, through that work with Ms. Copeland in Town Council, she discovered that her predecessor, the previous town clerk, John Canny, did not submit Article 31 of the May 2012 annual town meeting to the Attorney General. That article, which,
Does this sound familiar?
Article 31,
We haven't-
which,
Sex offender bylaw.
Yeah.
so Article 31, which passed unanimously by town meeting in May of 2012, was a bylaw amendment to make the Finance Committee a committee of town meeting, in that the Finance Committee shall be appointed by the moderator. Well, as the board is also aware, under Mass General Law, in order for a bylaw or a bylaw amendment to actually become legally effective, it must be reviewed and approved by the Attorney General. Hence, after town meeting, these bylaws or the amendments are supposed to be sent to the Attorney General, and she has up to 90 days to conduct the review, and often will send a letter back to the town clerk, and the town clerk is responsible for this, that it's been accepted
It has to be
and/or
posted.
changes, and then it has to be posted. This is concerning, so this was really concerning because this goes back to 2012, and everybody had assumed that he had done his job, which was to submit it to the Attorney General,
I
and
never
he
assumed
didn't.
that.
So my first concern was,
It has
because
to
we
be
have
done
a,
within 30 days of town meeting, correct?
yeah, and then there's 90-day review.
Right.
And so Ms. Copeland shares my concern on this, and has confirmed that the Attorney General never received it. And so the first issue was because we've appointed members of the FinCom through the moderator, which was the change, and we were operating just as the will of town meeting. I said, well, the bylaw is technically not legally accepted. Town council has advised that the members that have been appointed by the moderator are okay and are legitimate at this time. Additionally, and this has been in consultation with the Attorney General's office. The second thing is, I was concerned about any actions taken by the FinCom since that time. Are they legally binding? And they are. So that's the good news. So where this does technically, legally, where the town is at this point, and you'll see this in the email, and the FinCom has this as well. Ms. Copeland is preparing the submission to the Attorney General's office, and we're hopeful that the review will be quicker, but just in full disclosure, from the time it arrives at her office in Boston, she has 90 days. And it could take 90 days this time of year, because you have all the towns submitting their bylaw amendments. So in the event that there are any reappointments or new appointments to the Finance Committee, in order for them to be legally binding, they will have to be appointed by the Board of Selectmen until the Attorney General approves the bylaw. Then it will go back to the moderator.
There's the moderator in it.
And the moderator was CC'd on this email. And so, in talking with Susan about this, and I do want to just publicly thank her for her due diligence and her level of detail to all of these matters, to bringing this to our attention and the work she's put in to get this done correctly, that her predecessor failed to do. I've suggested to her, and she's agreed, so she's reviewing all of the bylaws to make sure that,
I'm scared.
to make sure that everything has been done to a T. We know what happened with the sex offender bylaw, and that's why, and this is a core function of the elected town clerk. I mean, this is not, so, that's where we are with that. If we find anything else, Ms. Copeland, and she's happy to come before the board.
No.
But just to emphasize one final point for the record, that it was not this town clerk, it was the predecessor.
No, this town clerk arrived, hit the ground running, and hasn't stopped moving.
Listen, and again, I'm gonna reiterate this, because the wool was pulled over the entire town
Yep.
with the former tax collector and clerk, with his mailings and his essentially lies and campaigning. This position, and I said at the last town meeting I wouldn't bring it up again, well, I lied. This position needs to be appointed, and I can guarantee you that the nice clerk that we have over there now would have no issues with it, because she is incredibly qualified to do the position. And it's a shame that it's a popularity contest that put us into 3 different lawsuits, if you count the Bulldog issue, and now we're finding this, and who else? And I would also say the same goes for the treasurer. We are 25 years behind other towns with this, and people really need to wake up and realize how much money this has cost the town, because we had someone that wasn't qualified to. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think the biggest thing that needs to be realized is that the difference between an appointment and an elected is, if it's an appointment, there's a little bit more of being able to review accountability.
And hold the person accountable.
Hold the person accountable. Well, that's what I said. Whereas on an elected official, elected officials have a tendency to say,
I'm elected.
yeah, I'm elected, I can do whatever I want. That is one of the things that needs to be thought about in a conversation like such as this. This is very embarrassing. As I said, the wool was pulling over people's eyes. It's a little scary to think that something else will come out, and how this could legally affect us. So good luck, Susan, trying to...
Gary's question later on in the evening is going to go
Yeah.
back to another issue that
So,
is based on an election, not an appointment.
yes, Mary?
Quick, Madam Chair. In view of the fact that it didn't go to the Attorney General in the 30 days, do we have to bring any of these back before town meeting?
Well, I would think that the Attorney General would come
Yeah.
back and say, I mean, ironically, the town, everyone has been under the impression that this was taken care of.
Right.
So it's definitely not our fault.
No.
And hopefully the Attorney General won't come back and say, hey, this needs to go back, because that would be very time consuming. It would cost money.
Yeah.
And it would be
On
more
this,
embarrassing.
on this particular one, Madam Chair, the town clerk has been advised from the Attorney General that, and we will do this, that we can submit it. It's a procedural issue, but
So-
it's still,
It's wrong.
Yeah.
But essentially, if no one needs to be appointed, we're good. That passes.
right. I just to notify
Right.
you, and again, when you talk about the power grab thing, it's not the intent, but in order for the appointments to be legal, now that we know this, future, whether it's a reappointment or a new candidate,
Right.
until we get the letter from the Attorney General, has to defer to this board. And that's no disrespect to the moderator or the FinCom.
No, it's legal.
Go ahead, Gary.
My concern is, what else have we missed?
Right, and that's what, to her credit, Ms.
You keep thinking it's coming to an end.
No, it's
Can I
like a bad
see the
penny. It
2012
just,
book for a second?
Yeah, and the card is where the,
it's just,
yeah, Ms. Copeland is in the process of doing a full review to make sure
It's amazing.
everything is No, you raise a good point. She and I have had this discussion. It gets concerning.
I mean, it could be a financial impact that's huge to the
Right, this
town.
one is a procedural.
Not just with this, but also with the treasurer's office, who's been an issue right along too, which I'll elaborate more later, but
So just to clarify, all articles at town meeting have to go before?
Just
Bylaw.
any
Bylaw.
bylaws or bylaw amendments, even if they are unanimously or if they are approved by town meeting, they must, by state law, go a legal review and be
Okay.
approved by the Attorney General.
Just-
And then they must be posted in 3 locations in the town.
And that was
but-
our issue with the.
By the town
bylaw.
clerk, and they
Right.
become effective.
That was
Right.
picked up, if I recall, by the chief of police, not the town clerk. the one that- Yeah,
So.
it was, so,
So, and then so lastly, and then I just have 2 action items. Just to conclude, I think that we are in good shape with goals and objectives for the year ahead, and we know there'll be all kinds of other things in addition to what we do every day. And I just, again, look forward to working with the board and Ms. Antonellis in the year ahead. And today is actually the 1-year anniversary that Ms. Antonellis has been with us, and I just, through the chair, publicly just wanted to thank her for all of her professionalism and passion for the town and her expertise. We are really moving in a great direction. So with that, Madam Chair,
love you, man.
the next item on my report is a request for a 1-day beer and wine license for the
To
St.
celebrate Kelly Antonelli.
for the St. Mary's Parish for their block party on June 27th.
I got a question, Mary, does this block party, is this replacing the September?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're not doing that because they felt that it kind of went up against the school activities. They're going back, they have football start, so they thought
Yeah.
they'd try something
Makes
new
sense.
this year.
yeah.
I wanna be
There's still
away.
gonna be the steamers?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, good. Okay. As long as I get the steamers, I'm good. Yes, Gary.
Make a motion to approve a permit to serve beer and wine at St. Mary's Block Party on Saturday, June 27th, between the hours of 11 a.m. and 8 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Good thing, 'cause I already signed it.
And then the next
I
item.
saw that.
The last item, through the chair, is, as you know, the board and committee appointments, and as we agreed, we would do a 2-part process, some tonight and some on the 16th. And so what Carly has prepared at my request in your packet is a matrix of the appointments, and what I would suggest, I can just go through them very quickly, and if, like we do at town meeting, if selectmen have a question or what have you, they can say pass, or if they want to take it up next meeting, or if they want the candidate to appear before the board, we can arrange that. So the first set are 1-year appointments. Copeland and Page as town council. Daniel Swanfeld, town auctioneer. Gabe Valente, building inspector. Gabe Valente, fence viewer.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't recall ever seeing the word fence viewer. What is a fence viewer?
Under the,
I get this image of somebody in a fence just
Yeah.
viewing.
as the building inspector, if a fence is erected between 2 structures or so forth, it has to comply to certain heights in code.
Okay.
And when in question, in this case, the building commissioner would determine or resolve a dispute.
Okay.
Happens more than you.
Roland Bernier.
Funny title.
Yeah, it is.
Roland Bernier, alternate building inspector. Robert Frederick, plumbing and gas inspector. James Bacon, assistant plumbing and gas
Cool.
inspector.
It's Bacone.
Bacone, you're right. You're right. Alan Parker, wiring electrical inspector. Phil Horgan, assistant wiring electrical inspector. Eric Altonen, sealer of weights and measures. Ramona Bean, assistant tax collector. Per statute, the assistant tax collector is a joint appointment of the tax collector and this board, and of course, Ms. Bean is recommended for annual appointment. Carolyn McCreary, Energy Committee. Alan Wilson, Energy Committee. Jeff Mays, IT Committee, Alan Wilson, IT Committee, Chief Robert Pedrazi, Emergency Management Director, David Mahar, MRPC Representative, Robert Finn, Reserve Police Officer, Robert Sultanen, Reserve Police Officer, Casey Scott, Reserve Police Officer, Shirley PD Sergeants, Peter Violet, Elfrida Cromwell, and Samuel Santiago for Special Police Officer out of town. Shirley PD Patrol Officers, Craig LaPrade, Everett Moody, Gregory Gushlaw, Brandon Bruin, and Jason Strindnest, Special Police Officer out of town. Shirley PD Reserve Officers, Robert Passetti, Matthew Iliano, Mark Lafretti, William McGinnis, David Lang, Sarah Broadmerkel, Special Police Officer out of town. And these have all been vetted by Chief Murray and are on his recommendation. Mr. Rich Scotchless, Water and Sewer Rate Review Committee. Miss Mary Spinner, Water and Sewer Rate Review Committee. D. Mike Detillion, the Veterans Agent, and I apologize, this is an annual appointment that expires on March 31st. It was an oversight. It should be done every March 31st. Obviously, Mr. Detillion wishes to continue.
Great job, yeah. Chair looks great.
Robert Pomperian, MART Advisory Board,
Pass.
Robert Pomperian, MBTA Advisory Board.
Pass.
Then okay, you can stop. Those are the one-year appointments.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yes, Gary?
Make a motion to approve all the one-year appointments as stated by Robert, set to expire June 30th, 2016, except for the term of Veterans Agent to expire March 31st, 2016.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, almost done. 3-year appointments, term to expire June 30th of 2018. Miss Mary Spinner, Capital Planning Committee. Mr. James Stephen, Capital Planning Committee. Sister Paula McCree, Council on Aging Board of Directors. Sally Balcom, Council on Aging Board of Directors. Both are on recommendation by the COA. Mr. Harry Zane, Cable TV Advisory Committee.
Yes.
Make a motion to appoint 3-year appointments, terms to expire June 30th, 2018, to the previously mentioned people in the position.
Second.
But this used to be painful.
I know.
This
And
is
then lastly,
a lot better.
Madam
Oh,
Chair.
Wait a minute.
Wait, can we vote?
He made
Oh,
the
I'm
motion.
sorry.
Did you second?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Oh, it was
No,
a
I was
giggle.
I was
Okay.
laughing
I
at
said-
his
All right.
previously, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the 3-year appointments have been approved.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
And then lastly,
You
there's-
make 'em.
There's one 5-year
I'm
appointment,
not even, I'm just listening. I'm letting you take over.
one 5-year appointment to
Next year.
expire June 30th of 2020. Mr. Robert Williams, Industrial Development Finance Authority.
Yes.
Make a motion, 5-year appointment, Robert Williams, to the Industrial Development Finance Authority, term to expire June 30th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Nice job, Gary.
These will be available, Madam Chair, through the website too, for the public to see who's on what. And we also have a new module for the website that was mentioned before, tracking appointments and committees. For the 16th, we may have some additional appointments for board consideration. And then at the conclusion of the meeting on the 16th, we plan to do a more aggressive and detailed advertising effort on vacancies and opportunities. So my final PSA to the public, there are many opportunities to get
Yes,
involved
please.
with your town, and just contact the BOS office and we can use you.
Okay.
So with that,
How
I
painful it used to be.
thank the board.
Robert,
Like how
just
painful the
in
appointments used to
that
be.
memo,
We'd be here for
that
hours.
first part of the memo, that we need BOS
Days.
representation on a
Oh.
bunch of different boards, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Did you still want to stay on capital
I would love
planning?
to stay on Capitol if you guys are okay with that.
Okay. You still want to stay on
If you-
J-Box?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay. I'm going to stay on water and sewer, and I got shanghaied into the comprehensive plan last time.
Yeah,
You volunteered.
That was a good play.
So is there,
There's more.
You
Oh, yeah.
still on by board?
let's
Gary?
see.
Sure.
It's usually the vice chair, right? Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Who's usually the vice chair?
No, it's,
I've never been on by board.
No, neither was I.
So it's not usually the vice chair.
I thought that's how the statute.
It's just always been Gary.
I'd appreciate being on it.
I would rather have someone that knows it, so I have no desire to be on it.
You gonna be by board?
Yeah, so in other words, we're all staying where we're at.
Okay.
Unless you want to be on it. I don't know if that's what you're saying. I don't have the time.
Well, I mean, I wanted to cry.
What about the?
Yeah, so just to conclude, I'm sorry, technically, the 4th of July committee, do you want to send anybody from the board as a representative?
I'll do the Christmas committee. How's that?
Okay.
Well, I'm actually going to be meeting with David
Okay.
next week for the 4th of July, I
Okay.
think, so.
Okay. By board is going to be Selectman Luca. J-Boss is Selectman
Stop
Luca.
chewing your nails.
No.
Cable
I'm not.
TV Advisory Committee.
Gary was it?
Yeah, you've been it for a long time, but.
Gary can say.
All right.
All
There's
right.
no contract coming up for about 8 years, so yeah, I'll be on it.
Yeah, what do you
Capital-
do with that? Yeah, we have cable. Looks good. You see that program last night? I mean, how does that work?
I know.
Capital Planning Committee will be Selectman Hillman. The Insurance Advisory Committee is ex officio. Any member of the Board of Selectmen could attend it. If more than 2 of you attend, then I need to post it, so I don't think.
Which board?
I mean,
Insurance Advisory
isn't that
Commission.
like Kevin and
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that gets posted anyway.
That gets posted,
Okay.
so it's just, but you don't have a vote, but a selectman can be sent there if needed.
good.
The TIF Review Committee, the Tax Incremental Finance Plan, there's a TIF Review Committee. Myself, the assessing administrator, the staff support on that. There's,
Janice, you're listed on that right now, on the. TIF
yeah, I think so,
committee.
yeah.
Yeah, you might not have been here that night. When we
Yeah,
were-
for some reason, they haven't met in some time.
I didn't miss a meeting, right?
No,
Okay,
no.
phew.
So, that's one, and then Selectman Livingston is gonna be Water and Sewer Rate Review Committee. So on the TIF review, I think we can, let's,
Wait till you get a TIF review and then.
right, and then I'll,
Yeah,
Appoint
it's
someone.
not something
Yeah.
that's coming up.
all right.
And then the insurance advisory, are we doing that or no?
Call us if you need us.
Yeah,
Whoever's
I don't think.
available.
I think
That,
Yeah.
they're talking about making some plan changes.
Yeah. And if they
Minuman the
do,
Silva.
well, we have to vote on that anyways, right? We have to bring that before
That's gonna
us.
be negotiation.
Yeah. Okay.
so, again, I'd just like to thank Carly for the matrix and the organization. You're right, it goes much quicker than many years ago. So, on the 16th, Madam Chair, if we have some more, the board will be asked to consider.
Are there any finance committee?
Yes,
Two.
Mr. Kilcommon's term expires on June 30th, and he made it clear over a year ago, his service. He will be missed. Mr. Hood's,
Can we ask him again, just to make sure?
we can.
All right.
Mr.
Beg
Hood,
him.
I
Yes.
tried
Get down on your
Friday
knees.
night.
Mr.
Not
Hood's,
for a beverage or two either.
Mr. Hood's term expires on June 30th. And
Is he staying or going?
last I knew, I believe he was staying.
Oh.
But,
Depends.
and then
Potatoes.
Mr. Musil is going to be moving, and once that happens, he won't be able to continue to serve, so there's a vacancy. And Ms. Zawaki, I think, may stay another year, but it depends again on whether she's, moving or not. So the committee, that's what,
There could be a quorum issue.
there could be a quorum issue, and just for the issue of the significance of that too is, and I asked and looked into this, the town's reserve fund, by state law, the reserve fund and the reserve fund transfers must be approved by the Board of a quorum of the Board of Selectmen and a quorum of the Finance Committee when it's under the Board of Selectmen, not elected officials as well. I said, what happens if we don't have a quorum of the Finance Committee? Not that I'm wishing that. Does it defer to the board? Actually, under state law, you can't access the reserve fund if you don't have a quorum of the Finance Committee. So that's the significant impact potentially there. So far, we're okay, but that's
There's
what-
been some
So-
people who have expressed interest in
Okay.
stepping out. So.
Okay. Keep us posted.
Will do. So,
Excuse me, isn't John staying on, gonna come on capital plan?
yes, he'll be.
Yes, John is
Next,
gonna be
next,
capital,
yeah,
Okay.
as a resident. That'll be an appointment for next
So
week.
it should be the same committee as we had this year.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you.
Okay. Gary. You have a long list.
All right, just make copies of that free cash policy that is like the torment of the town. You're gonna spend money? Well, we already appropriated the money from you, so we might as well spend it too. Whole thing with free cash. This is money that's already paid by the taxpayers. This is money that our department heads have done a good job managing their departments. Money that's left over that taxpayers already been taxed. It's money that flows in from $28,000 from the chief and a grant, $100,000 from meals tax that comes in after June 30th, or during that year that it's not expended. Comes from a number of different places. Personally, I think it should be used for good reasons, and I outlined some of them here.
So this is yours that you
Yes.
came up with? Okay.
All I would like people to look it over. I want to fine tune it a little bit, and maybe bring it up next meeting for discussion. I'd like Lisa to look at it and send it off to the finance committee and see what they think. But
So, are your thoughts to keep like a minimum or and then use it? I mean, not expend it completely, but
yeah, the good thing we did a couple of years, 3-4 years ago, was stop using free cash to build our budget. And it shouldn't be used that way, because it's
agree.
not a reoccurring
Correct.
source of
Yeah,
funds.
that's very dangerous.
my first
Right.
year here, there was no free cash. I remember we had to scratch and claw for a lawnmower.
Which was a good, it was a good thing, because it set the tone with that zero money.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, and that should continue. But if you haven't, if you have a lawnmower you want to buy it,
Right.
Yeah, and I think
if the money's there.
to speak for the capital committee, and I think Mary can attest to this, we did a lot of that. We tried to do a lot of that this year too, without borrowing for things that we could afford.
Right.
Obviously, I mean, so we tried to do that.
Yeah.
on quite a few projects.
People speak of enterprise funds, which, doesn't affect anything because you're borrowing on the enterprise fund. But it still affects people's water and sewer rates. If you're borrowing, you're still borrowing over a certain amount of time, where if you have $100,000 that you want to pave the transfer station, and you have the cash, use it. I mean, do you want to squirrel away stabilization? We're already at what we should be at stabilization. Part of our policy, policies you want to follow them, but you don't want to follow them. Our financial policies say we want to stay within 5 to 7% in stabilization. And then when we put money in stabilization, we want to put 10% of that into capital stabilization, which the last 2 years we've done completely contrary to that policy. We've put more money into it. Not saying it's a bad thing, because you're going to have capital expenditures. Hopefully, you're not going to have to go into stabilization. So the bottom line is, why are we taxing people, taxpayers, just to have money left over to use and still tax people in May? I'd like to get some kind of policy down where that is happening at a minimum.
Okay.
Where we're using free cash wisely. And I'm not, OPEB is important, but I don't think it's as important as going out and reducing our debt load. Say, personally, I thought we should have paid off the fire station this past year instead of having a payment this year and a payment next year. So now next year, you don't have that payment.
Correct.
So you get $190,000.
Less interest.
Right. You have $190,000 next year to play with.
Right.
So this needs to be
I think
looked,
it's some valid points that we should look at.
and I understand,
And we started that this year with capital. I know we really tried to do that because you're right.
yeah,
Why borrow?
if you don't have to.
Yeah.
And, I've gone through it with Lisa a little bit, and, she says, yeah, the part about paying off the debt's good, but you gotta look and see what you wanna do, because some of it's bundled. together.
Well, I think our neighbors over here made that mistake a few years back and paying stuff off that they probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, which
You mean
is,
Shirley?
yeah. But if you have if you're in good standing, we're in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
We're so black, we're in a Broadway 36 typeface.
Right now, I mean, it's,
Underline, capitalized.
Well, what the hell that meant, but it sounded good.
A Broadway font,
But-
36 typeface, underlined,
Got it now.
bolded.
can you just send this out electronically?
Yes.
And if anybody has any comments, additions to it or anything within the next week or so, just send it to me so I can incorporate it and put more ideas
Yeah.
into it. And I'll look at a few other towns and see if anything's out there.
Sure.
Yeah,
Ones
I
that are
peeked at
financially
this.
sound.
I peeked at this and I think this is good. I think it, like you said, and we discussed at the last meeting too, we're really looking for some parameters and whatnot as to being able to use it wisely.
Well, we kind of ran across it this year in Buy Board, and we talked about the Park Street purchase. That finance didn't want to use free cash. They wanted to use UDEC. But you look at it and you're like, okay, if you're going to replenish UDEC, then why not just use the free cash?
Correct.
What are you going to do, replenish UDEC next year? So if it's there, use it. Again.
No, I think this is great to have this looked at a little bit better than what it has been in the past.
All right.
Situation.
It is a very good situation.
I'll send it. Okay.
That was just the background
Yeah.
stuff from the DOR.
Yeah.
And then this is just what I had as
Okay.
a...
Now, you gotta fill me in on this thing you threw at us at the minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Shirley.
From what I understand, and I was hoping to have a copy of the email, I don't, but it got sent to a bunch of different town managers and town administrators, school officials, state officials.
Except you.
Nobody in here.
Nobody in there. Presumably from Patrice Gavin, the town administrator, and Shirley, and which I would think the Shirley Board of Selectmen probably approved it, I would
Yeah, I guess we'd have to.
think. And it was sent to state, I don't know if it was sent requesting that it be put into law, or a bill to be put into law, that any regional school system, that they keep their increases to 2.5%, their request for increases to 2.5%, and anything over that 2.5%, they ask for an override. Each town having to pass it to get that money. And the state to pay for special education, and there was a couple other, regional transportation, if that's cut, allow the regions to be able to charge for transportation.
Well, and which they are not allowed to now.
Right.
There's no.
Because they get reimbursed.
Correct.
So, and there was a couple other ones in there.
Okay, but, I mean,
And supposedly it was, Jen Benson supports it. Now, which I find hard to believe, because she used to be a school committee person.
well, I do know for a fact that she was lobbying for more prison mitigation money for the town of Shirley. Whether that went through or not, but we were not aware of that, and they never disclosed their
Well,
prison money.
my question is where she's one of our reps, Robert? I'd like to formally, if we could ask her if she
Yeah.
did support this, and
And you don't want me asking.
if there is an email out there,
I wonder if it could be, because like budget priorities that the legislators sent out to each town, like, oh, what are your priorities?
it could be.
Maybe that's,
So we need.
Yeah, but why to go to a bunch of other towns, not us?
yeah, that's true,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they were circumventing.
Right, they didn't want to hear from us, even though we're part of it.
Part of it. We're,
knee deep.
We're driving the ship, yeah.
So I just like to, and if I'm off base, I apologize to the Shirley Board of Selectmen and the town administrator, but
Sounds like you have a lot of details that you probably not so far off base, because I've heard a few things too that I mentioned to Robert about lobbying down at the State House for, this and that, which is their right, but they're not disclosing.
I'm just concerned, especially if one of our reps, and we're not getting the information from our rep. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
So,
but that's,
No, thanks for
I don't
bringing that
have,
up. That's the first I've heard of it. And I'm sure a lot of people have, but that doesn't mean it's not 100% factual either.
right, but I don't know, it was a credible person that
Yeah, I believe you, and I actually
people
believe it.
that I got it from, so.
yeah.
And the other thing I just wanted to mention again, 32B, Section 9.5A, what do we owe to other communities for health benefits for retirees?
And more importantly,
And more importantly, what do communities owe us?
You know, I've been on this board for 2 years, and for 2 years, I've brought that up, you've brought it up, I mean.
I'm bringing it up every meeting.
I know.
Can you send her an email?
Somebody
That we,
in the madness, we already established in a previous meeting a few months ago, it is state law, that state law needs to be followed, whether you personally agree with it or not. We had someone sit here, state that, it's on video, in a public meeting, it's state law.
this is a detriment to the town financially,
again,
that the treasurer
back
is.
to why I'm going to push for these positions to be appointed in the fall. I made the decision, though, I'm sorry.
I agree,
Because this is killing us.
I agree.
This is just
We're not
become
taking the
beyond
people's,
absurd.
If you're elected, right, so like we're elected,
We don't have to follow state law.
but we can be recalled, or we can be fined by the Attorney General. What goes on with the treasurers? They're exempt? I mean, where's the Department of Revenue?
this, and we have brought this up before. I remember Janice mentioned, and, well, we'll get somebody to do it, Lisa or anything else. I remember me saying, it's her job, she should be doing it, but I'm at a point where it's such a financial detriment that if Lisa could get the information, or someone could get the information on who owes us money,
Well,
I'd
she
love
gets
to
the
have them.
information by doing a public records request from down the hall. That's the irony. Is
We could
we're
contact-
not having
contact
teamwork.
them.
We're not having teamwork here
Right.
because the accountant has to do a public records request to get
Can we
the
contact
information so that she can balance the books.
PREC? Can we contact them?
Through the chair, not to belabor the point, because it's been going on for 2 years, and it's the position of myself and many others.
At all? 2 years?
Maybe
Well,
one.
in my lifetime.
Respectfully disagree with the position that the treasurer has taken because it's against the law. Just because one individual thinks that it's a bad law or what have you, doesn't mean it isn't the law. I mean, it'd be like if you went 85 miles an hour down Main Street, got pulled over and said, well, I don't like it that the speed limit's 25 or 20. That being said, what we have tried to do is, because this is under the statute and the law, solely the town treasurer, the town accountant has attempted to get the records, has been told to file a public records request, which I think is just insulting and inappropriate. It was supposed to be working all together for one department to ask another to do that. It's just not, in my opinion, acceptable. I will ask what Ms. Gabri has done, the town accountant, to the best of her ability. We've gotten some of these bills through the towns and so forth. To the best of her ability, has calculated what we think, emphasize what we think the outstanding amount is. We know to some certainty what we can bill. However, under the statute, the treasurer has to issue those bills. The other concern is, what do we owe? We see some bills that have come in. Lisa has done the best to try to put together, or when I say put money aside within the budget to absorb if, as you know, Burlington had sent a bill and threatened to sue the town that one was paid.
And they should have, they had every right to do what they did.
So
No
it is
respect
very,
for it.
it is very frustrating because I don't understand, I don't think anybody understands why it.
The treasurer does not understand,
But,
that's the
well,
issue.
she's been asked this by me, just lastly, why wouldn't you set up a billing system and a collection system? I don't understand, and it's state law, I don't understand what the benefit is to not doing this, and it is very frustrating.
This is the town's money, this is the taxpayers' money that
Correct.
pay these bills. So as far as I'm concerned, that there ends the conversation too. Because the taxpayers are paying this money out of their taxes to the town of Ayer, and they expect, the taxpayers in this town expect the jobs to be done. They've paid out the money out of their pocket. They expect bills to be paid, streets to be fixed, whatever it is that they've paid money out of their pocket, they expect this stuff to be done. If it's and especially if it's a state law, they expect it to be upheld. Again, I've seen nothing in the news about this particular law. So until it's been invalidated, rescinded, updated, changed, it's in effect.
That is correct.
And the law needs to be upheld. We here have to uphold the law. We here have to do all that, so it applies to everybody. It applies to everybody in this country. You're supposed to obey the law. So, you know, let's go right to the bigger picture of this. In the United States of America, you're supposed to obey the laws. We may not like them, but that's what you're supposed to do, so let's get it done.
Why can town council file a complaint with the Department of Revenue on behalf of the Board of Selectmen of the town?
You can file a complaint to the state treasurer's office
Why don't we do that?
showing a financial detriment to the town.
I think it's been pretty obvious that that's been said.
You have to check the general law, but I think I've read it enough to.
And I think we should. This is not a personal vendetta on my end in any way. We have too many our accountant treats our money like it's her money, and that's a compliment. And other people in this building are the same. And we're getting dragged down by, I'm on vacation, I'm gonna put my
Put your money in the drawer, wait till I get back.
Department heads, I'll be back in a week.
Well, that's been rectified, so that doesn't happen anymore.
We'll see.
And if it does, shame on the person who does that. So, this madness does need to end. This has gone on for too long. It's been discussed in too many open meetings.
That should be a goal
It's
and an objective.
on video, it's in meeting minutes. So it's all been discussed on the up and up. And it enough. Let's get this done. Get the bills paid. Get the bills in, paid, sent, everything that needs to be done.
All right,
Okay, and then, did you have anything else?
I'm done.
Okay, so I have one thing I happen to think of that it's kind of a funner item. I talked to you briefly about this. So for the Memorial Day Parade, we had the podium brought down. Unfortunately, it was too heavy. It's not on wheels and whatnot.
Right.
So it would be nice, I think it would be nice if we could have like a smaller traveling podium for such things like that. I don't know if there's some funds for that, but I would certainly be willing to pay for it. Because it would be, not just for like the Memorial Day Parade, but any other time when something like that's needed, especially when it was going to be in front of here in the town hall, it would make life easier.
I have a cart though that, is that what you're talking about? That has nice
Well,
wheels
something
on it,
like
you
a
can
nice
put it on and
speaking
just
podium,
wheel it.
a
No, but not-
smaller speaking podium
Put something
for
you can-
such events like that.
Wheel this down without dropping it or
Yeah, I
killing somebody.
mean, that thing is beautiful but trying to get it up and down and
Was.
everything is very difficult, so, just
It
a
was
nice,
beautiful.
decent, beautiful, decent,
Okay.
smaller
Like a
speaking.
lightweight portable
Right,
podium.
that we could use for such events, and
Oh,
if
you
there's
can tell
no funds for it,
Okay,
then
I
I'll
think we-
use my
No, I think
funds to pay for it.
We can work something out.
Like-
Collins in the shoulder
So.
tech.
Good luck now.
That bad?
No.
It's not horrible, but it's noticeable.
What happened?
There was an incident with the podium, bringing it back up from the.
Yeah, that's another, I didn't know that, but that's another reason why we
Yeah.
don't
Got some
want the
splintering
new
And
Don't look at it
podium
tonight.
ruined, we also don't want it falling on somebody and hurting them. So, so that's it, that's us all. So, the minutes,
Make a
You
motion to
guys-
approve the minutes of May 19, 2015.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion, minutes are passed? Yes.
Make a motion to move into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law 38, Section 21A. Police Officer Matt Power, exemption number 3, litigation strategy.
Seconded?
Oh, I'm sorry, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carly
Oh, it's a roll call.
I'm sorry, roll call. Gary?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
And the chair says aye. So we are